Myers Beach.
Jason DeRusha is in Fort Myers this week. Notebook open, leaning on the dugout rail, working the clubhouse like it's a backyard barbecue.
It's all about the pacing.
Sunscreen? Optional. Schedule? Flexible. Vibe? Relaxed. Next week, Vanita Sakar takes the reins. Color-coded schedule. Questions loaded. SPF. Expertly applied.
Let's do this.
Jason's working the room. Vanita's working the angles. He's spring break. She's election night. And together, they've got spring training covered. Follow it all from Fort Myers, continuing with Vanita next week on News Talk 830 WCCO.
You should never have to wait months on end for your home to sell, and you shouldn't ever sell it for thousands less than it's worth. It's Vanita here. My friends from the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty, routinely sell houses fast and for the most money possible. Walter and Adele sold their house with the Good Neighbor agent. They learned a lot from this whole process from John at one of his home seller seminars. John's advice and his marketing system made a big difference for them. It only took 5 days for John to find them a buyer willing to pay thousands over the asking price. It was wonderful. John can still give you all the same advice he gave Walter and Adele, even if you missed his seminar. You can learn what your home is worth. It's an important part of the process. Learn what your home is worth in seconds. Go to johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. johnschustergroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
Roses are red, violets blue, honey's sweet, but not as sweet as the deals Barufkas has for you. Up to 24-month, no interest, no down payment financing. Free Metro delivery with the purchase of a furniture protection plan. And free furniture cash with a donation to the local food shelf.
Through March 2nd.
Deals as sweet as honeydew vine water.
Oh, Jim. Barufkas. No gimmicks, haggling, or hard to understand pricing.
Minnetonka, Woodbury, and Burnsville.
Decidedly
sweet.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief, now being made available designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. For free information and to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, simply go online and visit DRA.com or call 800-535-1582. 800-535-1582. Again, that's 800-535-1582.
Access to affordable credit helps me pay my employees, but I don't really need it.
Inflation is killing me. But who cares? Big retailers are making record profits. That's why we support the Durbin Marshall credit card bill.
See? Banks and credit unions help small businesses make payroll. This bill would cut the vital resources they need,
while increasing megastore profits. They deserve it, don't they?
Tell Congress, stop the Durbin Marshall money grab for corporate megastores.
Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
Time to find out how it's moving.
Jeff, my dermatology friend, Dr. Mohiba Tareem, will be very upset if I come back with much of a tan. So it's a lot of sunscreen. It's a lot of sunscreen.
In Cedar Avenue, South 169 jamming up Anderson Lakes Parkway to Pioneer Trail. South 35W slows as you move across the Minnesota River Bridge. Find seafood savings at Whole Foods Market. Save 20% on sustainable wild-caught Chilean sea bass fillets with prime through February 24th. Grill this delectably flaky fish for a light but satisfying main. While supplies last, shop in store online. Terms apply. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
CCO forecast time. Hopefully it's better than yesterday. Here is Chris Schaefer.
No storms in sight, but we're losing anything that resembles warmth. Cloudy 24 overnight tonight. We'll hit 30 tomorrow with a cloudy sky. It's going to be breezy, though. Northwest wind 10 to 15 will make it feel cooler. This weekend, not as windy, but not as warm, with highs stuck in the mid-20s. Back to the 30s next week.
Right now in downtown Saint Paul, 33 degrees. The general manager of the Minnesota Twins coming your way right now.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha, live from Hammond Stadium, presented by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers, along with the Margaritaville Resort at Fort Myers Beach.
All right, back here on Drive Time with DeRusha. We are in Fort Myers at the Lee House Sports Complex, Hammond Stadium. First action when it comes to a game is tomorrow, and you'll hear it right here on WCCO. The Gophers taking on the Twins in a great tradition that doesn't happen every year, but happens a lot. It's so cool. Jeremy Zoll is the general manager, runs the baseball operations for the Minnesota Twins. Jeremy, it's good to see you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. Really appreciate it.
This has been a absolutely wild 6 months for you and for this organization. Why don't we rewind a little bit, because I haven't had a chance to talk to you on this show about what it was like when you heard, all right, like, we're making major changes, and Derek Falvey, who you've worked so closely with, was no longer going to be a part of the Twins.
Yeah, obviously news like that, whenever it comes, catches you by surprise, given, especially given time of year. But, Derek is someone who originally hired me going back 8 years ago, and we fostered a really good relationship and friendship. So, wanted to make sure that he was doing good on a personal front, and, just try to take it all in, catch your breath, and figure out what steps are next. And that's what we've tried to do these last few weeks.
You've gotten a real endorsement from Tom Polat. You must have a good connection, a good sort of vision as to where things are going. How did that process sort of roll out?
Yeah, it's been really good getting to build a relationship with Tom. Obviously, he came on in December, and we've been working to build as strong and as fast of a relationship as possible. So we're having really good chats on a daily basis, and I'm excited to push together with him and Shelty and our baseball operations crew to put the organization where we want to be.
Now, he's been saying all of the things that as a fan you want to hear. I'm all in. We plan on competing. We expect to compete. And then 2 hours after all of that, you get the news that as a general manager, you got to be like, my God, can I catch a break? Pablo Lopez likely out for the season with an injury that happened right here. What, I guess, were you watching when it happened? How does this go down for you?
Yeah, obviously the news about Pablo, definite gut punch, especially on first full squad day. Not that there's any good day for that to happen, but of all days, that felt particularly gut punchy, for lack of a better term.
It was cruel. Things were going well. We were all having good conversations. The stories were good. And then,
for sure. So, I was upstairs on the balcony having a couple conversations myself and watching. And whenever you see a guy come off earlier than they're supposed to, doesn't feel great. My phone started buzzing shortly thereafter from Nick Paparessa and our sports med group, and started working through the updates from there. But obviously, super disappointing news. Really feel for Pablo. Said it the other day, but he's second to none in terms of work ethic and care and everything he's done to prepare, and just a really unfortunate situation.
Well, in his mind too, I think his leadership, and we talk about some of this, I think, is this sports cliche, like leadership versus winning. Like, winning solves a lot of problems. You can have a screwed up clubhouse if you're winning, but most teams are not that. So I think the leadership does matter, and Pablo definitely has that presence.
Yeah, Pablo is definitely one of the leaders of the group, and the presence he has is really, really impressive, in his ability to connect with our English-speaking players, Spanish-speaking players across. How thoughtful he is. He leads by example. He leads through his words. So he's a special person. I'm glad he's a part of our organization, and looking forward to getting him through all of this and going from there.
Jeremy Zoll is with us. So the question then is like, okay, now what? So when the owner says, I'm ready to take some swings, if Jay-Z, you're Jay-Z now, by the way, have you always been Jay-Z or is that?
I've been Jay-Z during my time with the Twins and the last couple stops. So
I like it. I like it. I just want to make sure, like, I don't remember hearing that much before. I like it. So the owner says, all right, I'll take a swing. If Jay-Z brings me somebody that I think is worth it, so what do you do? There are only a couple of big names out there right now of pitchers who would be available. Obviously, other things can materialize as the season goes on. What's your sort of mindset?
Yeah, I think it took us, a good 24 plus hours to just kind of catch our breath, digest, understand, what just happened. And then, we've spent the last couple of days trying to assess all of the options that are out there. Starting pitching wasn't a thing that we had been focused on this offseason, given we really felt like it's an area of strength, on our roster. So, it's not something that we had been, super in tune with. You're always trying to understand where the market is across the board, but also mostly in the areas of need. With that, we do still feel like starting pitching is an area of strength and depth. So there's a lot of guys that this is a real opportunity, and to have a next man up philosophy. We could really embrace that. Whether we talk about guys that are established in the rotation, and then you look at some of the younger guys that are trying to establish themselves, whether that's Zebby Matthews or Mick Abel or David Festa and the likes. You're trying to find that balance of, do we bring someone in? Do we give guys more opportunities? A lot of talent in that room, but you also know you can never have enough starting pitching depth. So trying to understand free agency options that remain, trying to understand, the trade market. It's hard to make trades in spring training, especially this early in spring, but you want to always be assessing all your options, and that's what we're working through right now.
I think one of the things, and my fellow host yesterday, Chad Hartman, was saying, look, if he were in your seat right now, this situation might change the way you look at, like, all right, is it last year we didn't have a total rebuild scenario? Yeah, a lot of guys went, but it was a lot of people in scenarios where they were going to go at the end of the year anyway. Does it change the mindset on, well, are we legitimately going to compete this year? Or is it time to say, like, all right, we need to be open to the idea of a total rebuild?
Yeah, Tom and I, we've had those conversations and talked about it with the group as well. Still feel like, we're going to push ahead and feel like there is a lot of talent within that group downstairs that we think we can compete. And you're never going to be able to just perfectly replace a Pablo Lopez. There's, no two ways about that. But with that depth that we're talking about, if some guys take the steps forward and step up like we think they can, we think there's ways that that can still be the heartbeat of our club, and want to figure out everything we can do to supplement this group.
Jeremy Zoll is with us. So when we look at players that you really need to step up, who are the players that, all right, this year, like, they've got the goods, but they've got to really perform to a level that it's the level that you believed in when you first moved them up here?
Yeah, for sure. Probably could pick a handful of guys. Royce Lewis is obviously someone who's been through so much between, knee surgeries and some ups and downs along the way. He's had an awesome offseason. He's come in with great energy and great headspace this camp. So I think he's in a really good spot. He homered today in live BP. So he's someone, if he takes a step forward and returns to some of the levels we've seen at times previously, I think that's going to be really huge for us.
And we're going to hear from him a little later in the show, but he talked about, taking that step to get his own personal hitting coach, where he said, look, I think anyone who's elite, you have that point where you're like, all right, I'm very good. Mm-hmm. Do I want to be great? And what do I need to do? I took that as a great sign.
Yeah, no doubt. We were really supportive of all that. Royce has been super communicative this offseason with our coaching staff, with our new coaches, with our medical staff. So he's had a great offseason. We think he's in a great spot. So he has a real opportunity ahead of him to get to the level that we think he can, and that he thinks he can too. Brooksley's another guy that has gotten his feet under him now in the big leagues, but, looking to see him really take the reins, and, he has a real opportunity ahead of him with shortstop and getting those everyday reps, and just finding that consistency at the plate that I know he's been working hard at.
Guys that maybe we haven't talked about as much or heard about that we should keep an eye on, fans, as they start showing up at the start of the season?
Yeah, we have a really fun camp this year with the number of both like high-end prospects that we have on the 40-man roster and just some of our non-roster invitees, but loaded up with outfield prospects, whether that's Walker Jenkins or Emmanuel Rodriguez. They're extremely high.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's a really exciting group. They're going to be in there tomorrow. And Kalen Culpepper, our first round pick from a couple years ago, he's in camp and he looks great as a shortstop prospect. So and to go on for so many others. Connor Prelip's going to get his major league camp introduction here as he settles in. So both on the pitching side and the position player side, there's a lot of our talent in a really deep farm system is concentrated at the upper level. So they'll get a lot of action here in Major League Spring Training.
Part of your job is looking at the business side of baseball, like the economics of these contracts and the players and all of that. And we know that there's a big, CBA situation that's coming up. Does that play into your thoughts that much? Or do you have thoughts about like how the Twins fit into the overall system of the economics? I think fans are normally, this is sort of like snooze fest for a lot of us, but I think Minnesota Twins fans look at other professional sports and you see a situation where maybe a market like ours, we've got at least a more equitable opportunity when it comes to the money available to hire people.
Yeah, ultimately, I know a lot is, understandably being made of, what, the next, number of months or, when negotiations really get rolling. From my perspective, that comes down to the union and the owners sorting that out, the league sorting that out. And from my seat, whatever the rules are at any given time, the ones we have now, the ones we could have in the future, regardless of how significant they are, just trying to do the best job we can within those rules. So that's what I remain focused on and try to keep the group.
You don't have to worry about
that. That's kind of my stance on it. Not part of the negotiation.
I'm sure you have opinions over 3 beers. Then you will have opinions. But as far as day to day, you don't have to.
Justin told me to not drink 3 beers on this show, so staying away from that.
Smart. It's a smart approach for sure. Off season for you, I've asked a lot of players what they did. Your off season, there is no such thing, is there?
It's not a true off season by any means.
You're a busy dad, though.
Yeah,
right?
Busy dad. My daughter will be 2.5 in March. She's running around doing great. So try to cash in on as much family time as possible. But whether it was working on hiring Schulte and the new coaching staff, building the roster, whatever it may be, there were a number of different things that happened this offseason that kept us busy. We did get some time on the East Coast with family and snuck away to the Caribbean for some warm weather. But, that was around the holidays, which is the best time. There's kind of a mutually agreed upon shutdown between Christmas and New Year's amongst agents and GMs and whatnot. So try to cash in on that as much as possible.
Is that set up solely to preserve the marriages that are in the group?
Yes, it's like an unwritten rule or law or whatever, but yes, do our best to our significant others put up with a lot, and we try to give back in the small places that we can.
Really good. We hope there's no more big headline news out of this camp.
Yeah, I'm in on that plan. You're rooting for no news as much as possible over spring training. We failed that early, but
day one, Jeremy.
Yeah, try to get through the next bit as smoothly as possible, and hopefully guys just get innings and at bats under their belts and get ready for the season.
Good. Well, lots for people to check out if they come down here to Fort Myers, and it is still one of the coolest spring trainings. I've been to a bunch of different teams, and the access that our fans get is pretty amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. We pride ourselves on how accessible and fan friendly it is, and whether that's on the major league side and access to the cages and seeing all the workouts, or on the minor league side and all the top prospects there, you can get really up close and personal with the guys, and it's special. So get out of the cold weather, come down and enjoy it. And looking forward to seeing you all down here.
Awesome. Jeremy Zoll, thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
The Margaritaville Resort at Fort Myers Beach.
All right, we are in Fort Myers where the weather is nice, but yesterday the snow caused so many crashes and incidents on the roads. I hope you have good auto insurance. I hope you have excellent coverage at a reasonable price, but maybe what happened in the evening commute yesterday or the morning drive today is enough to make you say, I got to take another look at my insurance coverage. It's Jason here, and I recommend that you check out the Canopy Group, and here's why. Most insurance agents all around Minnesota have one company. You know the drill. They have one company, and every year you kind of have to reach out and say, like, hey, are you sure this is the best price? Could you get me a better deal? And maybe you're ambitious and you make some calls and try to do comparison shopping on your own. The Canopy Group turbocharges the whole effort. You call one number, 1-800-967-3389, and one of their 50 professionals will run your scenario through 16 different companies. One call, 16 different insurance companies. So it's to make sure you get the best coverage at the best price. You deserve it. You could be saving money. Let the Canopy Group find out if there's money on the table for you. 800-967-3389, or you can get a quote online at thecanopygroup.com.
In business, timing is everything. When it's time to buy, sell, or merge, you need a legal team that moves fast, thinks smart, and protects every dollar. At Helmuth & Johnson, we have over 30 years of experience in mergers and acquisitions that get results. No red tape, no surprises, just smart strategy and airtight execution. Big deals need bold lawyers. Helmuth & Johnson, on your side, at your side. Visit hjlawfirm.com. That's hjlawfirm.com.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here.
Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring.
Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now.
JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday, scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet.
Just a couple things, huh?
Maybe more than a couple.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppable beads to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness, so you can smell unstoppable.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Moving a lot better than the last couple of rush hours. Right now we do have a crash though up on the north side of the Metro, 694 westbound East River Road. The activity off to the right side. Right lane is currently blocked, though. We'll keep an eye on it. Traffic slows as you come in from basically Silver Lake Road. South 35 East slows through Saint Paul, heading down to Grand Avenue. North 169, you're going to find some congestion between Highway 7 and Medicine Lake Road. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
CCO forecast time now, and it is, as JP said, it's a little better than what we saw yesterday, but still a little challenging out there. Winter is back. There's no doubt about it. Chris says our low temperature tonight will be 24, tomorrow 30, Saturday 26. It's cool throughout the weekend. We'll warm up next week. The average high is 30 degrees right now in downtown Minneapolis. It is 35 on CCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha, live from Hammond Stadium, presented by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers and the Margaritaville Resort at Fort Myers Beach.
So today was kind of an interesting day here in Fort Myers. They call it Media Day. And just to give you guys a little glimpse as to what it's like coming out here to spring training in this week, it's a weird time because tomorrow is the first game. And so the first week of activity And each manager for the Twins does it a slightly different way. But Derek Shelton starts pretty early, and they try to get their business done. It's not a long, lingering day. So, Dan, like most days, we've been here at 7:30 in the morning.
Right.
That is when the clubhouse opens. And so there's a group of reporters. Jim Rich from Fox 9, for a while was the only TV reporter down here. Channel 5 joined 2 days ago.
I think that's right. Yeah. Alex
Osmus, good guy.
Very nice guy.
So those guys show up, but then it's mostly the beat writers. So you've got the Pioneer Press, you've got the Star Tribune, the Athletic, and then MLB.com, and also Twins Daily, a blog that covers the Twins. So you have this sort of group of reporters, and we hang out in the middle of the locker room while everybody's like getting changed, and I don't know. It's kind of a weird deal, right?
Well, there's a lot of business going on, in terms of uniforms and pictures. And
well, that's the business side of it too.
That's
kind of interesting too, right?
And so there's plenty for them to do. And when they have a few minutes in front of their lockers, you try to have a quick conversation. Yeah.
I do think it's funny that like these guys have to buy their own uniforms. So like one day the bat sales guy was there with a bunch of bats. Another day there's like a belt. Today
the belt guy was there. Today, yeah.
But media day means that they go through this gauntlet of still photos where every time you look at the scoreboard at Target Field and you see a player's picture up there, it's from spring training.
Yep.
When you see like the video scoreboard intro, that's from spring training. And they do it in the jankiest room in this very nice facility, but it's like an old minor league, county-owned kind of facility.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just funny, like when you see these high-tech, beautiful, and I will say, I'll give you guys a little glimpse. They let me do my own scoreboard video.
What?
They let me do. They gave me a bat to like hold it over like behind my head, kind of Reggie Jackson style. They gave me a couple of baseballs. I juggled. They were surprised I knew how to juggle. I think that is one of my...
I'm kind of surprised you know how to
juggle. You didn't know I knew how to juggle?
I didn't know that.
All right, so we'll be revealing some of these videos on social media.
Fantastic.
You're in Fort Myers, Florida. You can do whatever you want.
Absolutely you can.
You can do whatever. Love it. We have a lot more coming up still ahead. Our conversation with Royce Lewis is coming up in the next hour. We're going to start talking about the highway. Remember when sort of the do-gooders were proposing replacing Interstate 94 between Minneapolis and Saint Paul with like a boulevard?
Oh, boy.
They've gotten rid of that idea. Thank goodness. Oh, my gosh. I hope your drive home is more pleasant than last night. If any of you are flying, I hope your trip is more pleasant than my wife's journey overnight, which ended this morning with a stop in Orlando about 10 hours later than she was supposed to get here to Fort Myers. CBS News is next.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Febreze. New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance than the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray, and new Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor.
Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Keeping you in the know and in the conversation. News Talk 830 WCCO. 1029 HD2, Minneapolis, Saint Paul.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by JTV.com.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor is released from police custody nearly 12 hours after his arrest on suspicion of misconduct in public office in connection with Jeffrey Epstein. This Londoner's reaction?
However he gets what he deserves. If it's life in jail, then it's life in jail. If it's exile, then it's exile.
CBS's Vicky Barker.
Ailsa Anderson served as a press secretary to the late Queen Elizabeth.
I'm quite glad that I'm not working at Buckingham Palace today.
She's seen the photo of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor leaving a Norfolk police station.
He looked dazed, he looked shell-shocked, he was slouching down. And this image, I think, will just remind people of his extraordinary fall from grace.
With potentially farther to fall, the police have not given up their investigation into allegations of misconduct in public office. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
New Mexico's Attorney General reopens the investigation into allegations of illegal activity at Epstein's former Zorro Ranch 30 miles south of Santa Fe. The USA's Alyssa Liu wins the gold in her free skate program. And speaking of the Olympics, the U.S. wins a third Olympic gold in women's hockey, beating Canada 2-1. CBS's Kelly O'Grady in Milan.
Sudden death overtime. The U.S. women were able to pull it out. They cheered. They screamed. The crowd went wild, and Free Bird played. Free Bird, of course, being the song that plays whenever a U.S. hockey team at this Olympics scores a goal.
President Trump sends a second aircraft carrier group to the Middle East region in a show of force against Iran. He says the two countries are going to get a nuclear deal, quote, one way or the other.
We do have some work to do with Iran. They can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. You can't have peace in the Middle East if they have a nuclear weapon.
Democrats announced their pick to deliver their response to President Trump's State of the Union address next week.
Governor Spanberger is Virginia's first female governor. She was elected after serving 3 terms in the U.S. House of Representatives. The governor campaigned on issues including affordability, something the president has labeled as a Democrat hoax. The president is widely expected to focus on the economy during his State of the Union address and to spell out steps he says he has taken to lower costs. Spanberger is expected to discuss how prices remain too high for average Americans, with affordability remaining out of reach. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, the White House.
Advocates warn that the proposed Trump administration rule limiting public housing to mostly citizens could lead to evictions.
The National Housing Law Project says it defeated this unlawful proposal during President Trump's first term and says we're ready to fight back with our allies and do it again. HUD Secretary Scott Turner says the days of illegal aliens, ineligibles, and fraudsters gaming the system are over.
This is CBS News.
Looking for spring jewelry looks? Find them at Jewelry Television. New customers get $20 off purchases of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Minnesota's trusted voice every hour. Let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Cloudy, 34 degrees at 4:03. I'm Laura Oakes. We are awaiting official word from the federal courthouse in Minneapolis right now on whether a judge will extend an order that protects Minnesota refugees who are lawfully in the U.S. from being arrested and deported.
Advocates sued last month over Operation Paris, which focused on reviewing cases of 5,600 Minnesota refugees yet to be granted permanent resident status. They claimed ICE agents went door to door to make the arrest, that many of those arrested weren't given access to attorneys and were released from Texas detention centers with no way to get back to Minnesota without further action from a judge. The temporary restraining order is set to expire next Wednesday. Mark Fry, News Talk 830 WCCO.
WCCO's Taylor Rivera is at the federal courthouse. She'll bring us the latest as soon as we have it. At the Olympics today. That call from NBC Sports. Lake City's own Taylor Heiss gets the assist in Team USA's overtime goal, beating Canada for the gold medal. Heiss played college hockey for the Gophers and is now with the Minnesota Frost. There were 5 Gophers on that USA team. Minneapolis City Council members voting to approve liquor license renewals for 2 downtown hotels that have housed ICE agents. This comes after several members said they wanted to deny the licenses over fears of some employees who work at the hotels. Today, they were told they had no legal basis to do that. 60 new business openings and 9 million people attending sports and cultural events last year. A rosy outlook for downtown Minneapolis.
Despite facing 3 months of civil unrest, Minneapolis civic and business leaders gathered at the Armory to report that the city's momentum remains forward-moving, highlighted by the $230 million in new construction permits and workday foot traffic reaching 80% of pre-pandemic levels. President and CEO of the Minneapolis Downtown Council, Adam Duininck.
Our confidence has been shaken a little bit by challenging events of the last month or two, but our city's resolute. The business community is as well. We're excited about some of the future-looking conversations we're having today, too.
Leaders say they're now focused on accelerating residential expansion and securing more commercial investments. In downtown, I'm Taylor Rivera. News Talk 830 WCCO.
And another big name lending a hand.
Was right on time.
Brandi Carlile is the latest celebrity musician to raise money for Minneapolis and its immigrant residents.
Hey, I just want to let everyone know that I'm going to be live streaming Be Human, a concert for Minneapolis, this Saturday night from the Target Center. To join us and watch the concert live, head to veeps.com/Brandi Carlile from wherever you are in the world, and we're going to be donating all proceeds from the live stream to the Advocates for Human Rights.
The stream costs $29.99. All proceeds going to legal aid, as she mentioned, for those impacted by the recent federal immigration crackdown in Minnesota. WCCO News Time is 4:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Backed by Amber Scholl of Scholl & Associates, American Family Insurance. South 94 as you make way toward the Lowry Hill Tunnel, getting word of a crash. Things are a bit slow as you make way through that area. I haven't spotted the accident just yet, but again, be on the lookout for that and the slowdowns as you make way through the area. Traveling north 169, some slowing and move between Rockford Road and I-94. West 94 slows past 494 as you make way through Maple Grove. Protect what matters most with Amber Scholl of Scholl & Associates with American Family Insurance. From your home to your car to your dreams, Amber Scholl and her team are here to help you every step of the way. Call Amber Scholl today, 651-738-4811 to learn more. Visit amfam.com. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Very quiet for the next several days, but cooling down. 24 the overnight low tonight. Cloudy with a high around 30 tomorrow. That's right around average. Trouble is the wind is going to pick up from the northwest. 10 to 15, making it feel like the teens in the afternoon. Saturday, not as windy, mostly cloudy with a high of 26. Our highs will be stuck in the 20s through the weekend.
Cloudy right now, 34 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Where Minnesota checks in and finds its voice.
Long-time caller, first-time listener.
News Talk 830 WCCO. Good questions. Topics you'll probably talk about at dinner. Places to go for dinner. This is the Ride Home Reimagined. Welcome to Drive Time with DeRusha. Now, here's Jason DeRusha.
We are in Fort Myers, Florida, the home of the Twins, WCCO Radio, making our annual pilgrimage to the Lee Health Sports Complex, Hammond Stadium in Fort Myers. It's Jason, Drive Time in effect, along with Dan in Florida. Josh back at the studio, keeping everything under control for us. And it's hard to stay under control with the news from the Olympics that just keeps coming in. I'll give you a spoiler alert if you don't want to know. But why would you not want to know?
USA, USA.
How about this? Unbelievable. Alyssa Liu ends up securing the first gold medal since 2002 in figure skating for the United States. Pretty cool. She ends up edging out Jordan Stolz, also a U.S. Skater. He gets a silver in speed skating. And then also today, we get a gold in women's hockey.
USA, USA.
So today, the U.S. hockey team ties Canada late in the third.
Less than 2 minutes to go, I believe.
And then wins it in overtime with Megan Keller's goal. So there's a gold. Alyssa Liu was, if I remember correctly, her initial, short, what do they call it? Like your short
program?
Her short program was okay, but her free skate was phenomenal. Phenomenal. So within the last half hour, she skated into first place and held on for the win. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Good stuff.
Spoiler alert, fiend.
Yes. Yes, exactly. No spoiler alert on the reconstruction of Interstate 94. This has been a story that we've talked about for a while, and I believe that if I were running for governor of Minnesota, I think I could get pretty easily elected by telling MnDOT to knock off all of the nonsense and do not reduce the number of lanes on Interstate 94 in between Minneapolis and Saint Paul. This, to me, this is an example of what happens when the academics get a little too much in control of what we're doing for our roads and our highway. Let me tell you the first idea that has, thank goodness, been eliminated by MnDOT. They've spent 10 years sort of sitting around, because this project isn't going to start until, 2028? 2029?
Is that in real time or light rail time?
I think that's real time.
Okay.
They weighed 22 criteria, ranging from impacts upon water pollution, noise, air quality, opportunities for economic growth. So one of the options that all of the transit and the pedestrian advocates and the people who never have ever in their life been in a car in between Minneapolis and Saint Paul, they wanted to fill in the trench and make Interstate 94 a boulevard, like our most favorite boulevard and most delightful boulevard to travel on in the Twin Cities, Hiawatha.
Oh.
Isn't it great? Oh, it's such a treat. Remember when you could get out Hiawatha and get the airport from downtown Minneapolis in 15 minutes, and now you're stopping all the time? But, all right, I get it. These guys hate cars. They want to make it miserable to drive. And they believe that people are going to then take the bus, where there's no evidence that that's what people in the Twin Cities do. Now, I will say this. The data is pretty clear that when you add highway lanes, you do temporarily solve a problem, but the marketplace does what the marketplace does, and you end up with more cars and about the same traffic.
Yeah.
So adding lanes is not always the solution that people think it is. But I will tell you,
reducing them certainly is not.
Yes, cutting traffic. Look, I wish 50 years ago that they did not cut Minneapolis and Saint Paul in half by driving this highway smack through the middle of it. I wish they didn't do that. I wish they had built around the cities and created certain paths to get you where you wanted to go. But slicing it in the middle, I think, has had negative consequences. It's also had positive consequences in that it is pretty easy to get around our area. It really is. And a lot of that is because you can go around on the north, you can go around on the south, or you can go smack through the middle of it. The fact that we're spending 10 years sitting around, and it's because they have time, right? The money for this rehab isn't available until a few more years. But so the first idea was the adorable Parisian Boulevard connecting Minneapolis and Saint Paul. Idiotic, made no sense to me. Now they've landed on four ideas. Idea 4 is do nothing, and that sort of gives you a baseline. Another idea is just to fix it up. 4 travel lanes in each direction, reconstruct the pavement, redo the build, the bridges, and you don't get much of an improvement with the bus. You try to widen the shoulders a little bit to help the buses out, but that's it. Option 2, still 4 lanes in each direction, but during the morning rush, you would close 1 lane and turn it into like a min pass or a bus rapid transit lane. I'm not thrilled about getting rid of 1 lane of traffic during rush hour. I don't know where you are on that idea. And then the third option is, you get, what would the third option be? I don't know. So many dang options. You know what the best thing to do is? Reconstruct it, leave it alone. It's not great, but these solutions cause more problems than they fix.
That's exactly it. Too much thought. That's when you have 10 years to think about this and run it through all these 22
Well, the
criteria.
good news is, Dan, we're going to have public comment.
Oh, for sure. That always
It's going to be great. Starting tonight.
Oh, good.
Tonight, you can go to the Wilder Foundation's auditorium in Saint Paul, where they'll have big project boards. Those are going to be fun. And a bunch of people who hate you and hate your car will talk about the injustice and the trauma and the horrible things that you did. I am like public enemy number 1 in this scenario. I live in St. Paul and get in a car every day driving on Interstate 94. How many lives have I ruined?
Shame on you, Jason.
How many lives have I ruined?
Shame.
Man, it would just be great if they could what if we turned 1 lane into like an outdoor arboretum? Wouldn't that be neat? What are we doing? You could run for governor and be like, you know what, MnDOT, stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Get back to the important things in life, like naming our snowplows. I think that would be the fix. We're going to break in a couple minutes. You're welcome to weigh in, by the way. I'd love to hear what you think. 651-461-9226. While you weigh in, we're going to hear from Royce Lewis. He had a tough year last year. He had a bad year, let's be honest. What we expected, the fireworks, the heroics, the big hits, just didn't come through last year. This guy has fought through injuries. He's come back. He's stronger, and he did one thing in the offseason that he's never done before. We'll tell you about that as we continue live from spring training in Florida. Drive Time with DeRusha on the home of the Twins, WCCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha, live from Hammond Stadium, presented by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers and the Margaritaville Resort at Fort Myers Beach.
Taste what pork can do. It's Jason here for TasteWhatPorkCanDo.com and the Minnesota Pork Board. 3,000 family farmers. The first time I heard that surprised me. I didn't know that Minnesota pork came from families in Minnesota, not like giant, big old corporations. It's all family-owned farms and all over the state. And these farmers, the stories are incredible. So many farmers are our ages, next generation, third generation, fourth generation farmers. They care about the environment. They care about animal welfare. They care about their employees. And they're working so hard to use best practices, latest technology, and producing delicious, safe, reliable, lean, high-protein Minnesota pork to you at a good price. Which you go to your grocery store, it is nice to see the price on pork, I'll tell you that much. Now, you go to TasteWhatPorkCanDo.com, and tonight you can find a dinner idea. Whatever you're craving, pork can do it. Egg roll in a bowl, that sounds pretty good. How about roasted pork loin with apples and cinnamon? Or Oktoberfest ribs with apple sauerkraut? Lots of great ideas and inspiration at TasteWhatPorkCanDo.com. But go to your grocery store, go to your butcher shop. Let's have Minnesota pork for dinner tonight. Oh, yeah.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here.
Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring.
Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now.
JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday, scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet.
Just a couple things, huh?
Maybe more than a couple.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group. Did you buy a timeshare because they told you it was a great investment? That's a lie. Most timeshares can be bought online for $1. To find out what your timeshare is worth and to cancel it, call us today and we'll send you our timeshare exit kit free with all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley for your free exit info guide. 800-959-3388. That's 800-959-3388.
Ready to free your team from time-consuming office tasks? Amazon Business empowers leaders with smart business buying tools, leaving time to focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future at AmazonBusiness.com.
Even if you've given up on your New Year's resolutions, one health habit that's easy to keep is Active Liver from New Nordic. Active Liver protects your liver so you can enjoy life to the fullest. Online at Amazon, in stores at CVS, Walgreens, and now GNC.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Presenting Again Fling's love story. Dear love of my life, we were on the 12B bus this morning when I caught a whiff. A scent so fresh, so life-changing, I had to find its source. Alas, I didn't know if you were the woman in the pink freshly washed cardigan or the retired mailman next to me, but I knew one of you was my soulmate. Ah, the scent of Gain Flings. Try Gain Flings with OxyBoost and Febreze.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha, live from Hammond Stadium, presented by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers and the Margaritaville Resort at Fort Myers Beach.
On YouTube, M. Sharp says, Jason, we're not a transit city. The people who shopped at Neiman Marcus did not ride the bus. Another texter says, public comments tonight and in the future about the 94 project. 2 years after that project will be complete, everyone will say, how come they didn't ask any voters what they thought? That is sort of how this all goes. Another texter told a story about a road, a lane of traffic that was taken away near the South Saint Paul post office, and said to the people who hate automobiles, I hate them back. I try to lead with love, but the hatred towards automobiles, look, try to get people to drive less, but this idea that the best way to go is to make life hell for people who are driving around, besides the fact that between Minneapolis and Saint Paul, a key part of the traffic there is trucks. It's trucks bringing the crap that you guys ordered via Amazon to your house. So, like, what are we doing? Like, it's not just big old mean Jason coming from St. Paul into Minneapolis to go to work. All right. Let's talk baseball because we are at spring training. Today, the last day before live games start. Tomorrow, the first game will be The Gophers taking on the Twins. Zebby Matthews getting the start for the Minnesota Twins. That'll be at 5 o'clock right here on WCCO Radio. This morning, we got a chance to talk to Royce Lewis. Last season for Royce was disappointing. His offensive stats were not what he wanted them to be. His defense was good, but not great. So how does he get better? How does he step up? How does a competitor respond? That's one of the questions we talked about in the clubhouse this morning. Royce Lewis, it's good to see you.
Great to see you. Thanks for waiting for me.
Oh, no problem. It's all right. Spring training is busy, right?
Yes, absolutely. I always tell people I think the toughest time of the year for me as a player, or the most hardworking, is off-season and spring training. You're getting back. You got to meet everybody again, see some new faces, see your old faces, hang out. And then also, like you said, signing paperwork, taking pictures. So we just had what they call 30 minutes of pictures. Turned into an hour and a half. And so Buck and I were giving each other crap about how we're going to be late for stretch and stuff like that. So.
Well, you two are so good looking. I mean, the camera, they make you take all the pictures, right?
Hey, listen, I appreciate it. I'm not complaining, but it is something that you got to fit into your schedule a little bit better. So I try to be on time as possible.
All right, a couple big developments really to talk to you about. First of all, obviously the news with Pablo and the injury. It's been a tough one here in the clubhouse. Still seeing him around, I'm impressed. I don't know. What do you do when you have something like that where you're like, you're probably out for the season? What does it mean to the team to not likely have him this season?
Yeah, obviously it's crushing. You know, it's a huge role of our pitching staff there. To have that guy go every fifth day was going to be huge, and obviously we look forward to that going forward in the future, whenever that may be. It could be in the playoffs this year when we make the playoffs and surprise people, or it could be, in 2027. So I just look forward to him. I wish him best of luck. I'm always praying for him, and it just sucks when it happens to such great people in this game.
New manager, new owners representative. You had kind of a new vibe on that first day here at spring training. You in the offseason really dedicated yourself to improvement, hiring your own hitting coach, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
What was that decision process like for you?
It was different. It was weird because I've never used a hitting coach. Felt like I never was forced to, before that. And it was harder to tell because obviously with the at-bats being limited with the injuries and stuff going on. And so now it's finally giving myself an opportunity to just be the best version of myself, as consistent as possible every single day.
Obviously you have hitting coaches with the team, but it's got to be a little different when you have somebody who's keeping their eye on you every day, right?
Yeah, I think what honestly helped make that decision for me was knowing that I've had 3 in the last 3 seasons now, with going from David Popkins to Matt Borg-Schulte to then now Keith Burgard. And it has nothing to do with the actual coaches themselves. It's more about, I need to find someone clearly that's, in the best interest of Royce Lewis, because every year if you're having to find a new person and try to get a rhythm, and then you start off slow, the season starts off slow, that's when it's hard to come back from that. It's just you fail that first test, it's really hard to get an A in the class. So you got to stay on top of it from the get-go, and I wanted to have someone in my corner that was going to be with me for, the long time coming.
Obviously, you weren't happy with how your performance went last year and how things worked out. Does it feel like a new opportunity, a new day?
Oh, yeah, every season does. I think it's just happy to be healthy. I finished the year healtty, which was awesome.
We're all happy about that, right?
I appreciate it. Yeah, just looking forward to, a fun year. It's been a long time coming, and so I'm just been blessed to have an opportunity always, but waiting for my time to come, and it's exciting to show who I am.
How do you feel physically?
Great, unbelievable. Yeah, excited.
Do anything fun in the off season this year?
No, I played golf one time with Aaron Hicks. That was awesome.
That was it.
That was about it. There's not, like I said, the off seasons are not as much fun as people think. They could be, I guess, if you're comfortable. But when you want to show who you are and be the best version of yourself, it's a lot of work, and it's truly like a job. It's 9 to 5 days, and they're long, but it's something you have to love the game for that reason.
The fan base is nervous about, obviously, a lot of young players, how things ended in the second half. What would you tell Twins fans as far as coming out to Target Field this year?
Oh, definitely not to be nervous. I believe in us, if not more than the years past, only because the camaraderie, when people are really close together, especially young guys with the high energy. You got like that puppy dog energy where, with puppy, they just run around, they love you, they have all this energy, they go crazy. That's exactly what is in this clubhouse right now. And I don't think younger means worse. I don't know why people take that as a thing. I remember the 2001 or 2002 twins that were very young, the Torrey Hunters, the Kadyers, the Morneaus, the Corey Koskis of the world, like those kind of players all coming together. That's exactly what we're building here right now. And that's how Twins baseball works and operates, and we're going to win a World Series here really soon.
Is it funny to be like you're a little veteran-like? You're still really young in this too.
Man, I'm 26, man. Just because I'm bald doesn't mean I'm a veteran yet. So I look at myself as one of the 26 leaders we have in this clubhouse, and we have a lot of fun together, and I'm excited to watch all the boys perform and kill it. A lot of home runs, a lot of stolen bases. It's going to be fun.
It's good. Royce Lewis, thanks, man.
Thank you.
There it is, Royce Lewis with us on CCO Radio. Dan, that puppy dog idea, we see that around the clubhouse a little bit, right?
It's an interesting answer that he gives to that question, and it was a good question by you about, how do you react on a season there was some uncertainty to begin with, and then Pablo goes down. What are you going to say, right? You're not going to sit there if you're him and say, well, yeah, we're giving up. But I thought the strength with which he answered that question, right, of, no, actually, I feel better about this club, not because of Pablo, but I feel better about this club than I have previous years because I see these guys, I see the relationships, I see the talent that they have, and if it all comes together the way that they're working together to try and make it come together, this can be a competitive ball club. So take that for whatever you want, but it wasn't just a rote, no, I think we'll be pretty good this year. You could tell he believes it, that he believes in this group.
I think so, yeah.
And he believes in himself, and that's important.
Yeah, I mean, I think sometimes that's the disconnect between, like, the hardcore fan and the player. Because if you are on a team, no matter what the sort of prospects are, what the so-called experts think about what's going to happen in your season, you believe that you have the ability to be a game changer. And we have seen plenty of times where teams that don't get picked to be the favorite, well, things happen. The favorite teams have injuries or have challenges or players don't perform. And so there's always it is the reason why you go out there and compete. Now, let's be real. If this team has an awful first month or first 2 months, then you start having different conversations.
Right, but you at least give it the opportunity, I think.
Don't start.
To have that optimism. Yeah, a lot of things have to go right. There's a lot of unrealized potential on this ball club. Can that potential be realized altogether in the short term? He brings up some of the early 90s or early 2000s Twins. Is it possible? Yeah. Is it likely? I don't know. We'll see.
Right.
But there's a
we
lot of
don't have to know.
here.
Like, enjoy the ride a little bit, right?
This isn't just like a Colorado Rockies where it's just a dearth of talent.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent on this ball club. Whether it comes together the way it needs to or not, we'll see. That's the nature of sports.
All right, we're going to break in just a minute. We are going to visit with the CEO of the Minneapolis Downtown Council. They had their sort of state of the downtown conversation today. Vanita Sakar moderated that and emceed it, and we want some insight on where are things when you're looking at downtown Minneapolis. Obviously, still dealing with some of the after effects of the immigration surge, and not even after effects. This thing is still going on. So we'll talk with Adam Duininck about that and what are some of their priorities looking for the year ahead. That conversation coming up next.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha, live from Hammond Stadium, presented by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers, along with the Margaritaville Resort at Fort Myers Beach.
Talking about WCCO with others might not always feel comfortable, but it could prevent an awkward experience. Here's a way to start the conversation. Your family is going to have dinner at the neighbors for the first time. Before you walk through their door, ask the question.
Hello? Hey, we're really looking forward to tonight, but before we come over, I just need to ask, is WCCO playing in your home?
Oh, absolutely. It's preset on every radio and our smart speakers. And there's a backup transistor in the basement.
Ooh, thank you. The kids feel safer already.
Don't assume WCCO is on. Have the conversation, because prolonged exposure to homes without News Talk 830 WCCO has been linked to uninformed opinions. And that's a risk no family should ever have to take.
Get ready for Bingo for Broomsticks with Ducks Unlimited, February 28th at the Gold Nugget Tavern and Grill in Minnetonka. Doors open at 11 a.m. with bingo starting at 12:30. Play for your chance to win firearms and great prizes. Register now at mndu.org.
When it comes to outdoor living, quality matters. Patio furniture from By the Yard is Minnesota-made, maintenance-free, and backed by a 35-year warranty. It's furniture that stands up to real life, season after season. Just think about it. You'll never have to store it, paint it, or stain this furniture. Get online at buytheyard.net or visit one of the showrooms in Jordan, Maple Grove, or Woodbury Lakes and see for yourself. At By the Yard, life is better outdoors.
My husband's an animal in bed.
Well, you know.
Not in the fun way. Think warthog with a chainsaw.
Snoring and sleep apnea affect over 90 million people, and 1 out of 4 couples sleep in separate rooms. Advent's unique approach can help you breathe and sleep better, and many avoid a CPAP. Most insurance is accepted for these effective 20-minute in-office treatments.
Hey, the only animal you want in your bed is your dog.
Cash offer is the way to go. Just call Chris Lindahl. He'll buy your house today. He'll help you get a fresh start right away. Just call Chris Lindahl with his arms so wide. He'll help you move on fast and keep things simplified. Just call Chris Lindahl. His program is the bomb. Apply for your offer at chrislindahl.com.
We all have different skills, interests, things that make us unique. In the Minnesota Army National Guard, we combine all of that towards a common mission, serving our home. I'm Staff Sergeant Rachel Baufield from Minneapolis. We know strength isn't found alone. It comes when all of us fight for the same goal. When the goal is protecting what matters most, there's nothing stronger. What will you bring to help us build that strength? Go to nationalguard.com/Minnesota to see how you can get started today.
Paid for by the Minnesota Army National Guard. Brought to you by the Minnesota Broadcasters Association and this station.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Going to find some slowing. Traveling 494 northbound is moved between 394 and Highway 55, South 35E. Minor congestion around Wheelock Parkway, East 94 slows 55 over 235W, and on the south side, Cedar South looking pretty good, 494 all the way down to the area of Highway 13. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
And CCO forecast time. It is not snowing like it was yesterday. Here's Chris Schaefer.
No storms in sight, but we're losing anything that resembles warmth. Cloudy 24 overnight tonight. We'll hit 30 tomorrow with a cloudy sky. It's going to be breezy, though. Northwest wind 10 to 15 will make it feel cooler. This weekend, not as windy, but not as warm, with highs stuck in the mid-20s. Back to the 30s next week.
Right now in downtown Minneapolis, 34 degrees here on News Talk 830 WCCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha, live from Hammond Stadium, presented by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers, along with the Margaritaville Resort at Fort Myers Beach.
Live at Lee Health Sports Complex in beautiful Fort Myers, Florida. So grateful to Lee County and Visit Fort Myers for bringing us, supporting our trip down here. Same with Margaritaville and Fort Myers Beach, where Dan and I are staying. It's Jason, it's Drive Time. And even though we are far from downtown Minneapolis, downtown is always on our mind. It's where we broadcast from. It is the economic engine in many ways of the state of Minnesota. And so today, the Downtown Council got together, had their major annual meeting, their 70th annual meeting. And Adam Duininck is with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker Hotline, the president and CEO of the Downtown Council, to talk a little bit about what is ahead in the next year for the Downtown Council. Adam, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
You guys had Tom Pohlad from the Minnesota Twins, who was down here with us. He was with you as a part of this today, really talking. You talked quite a bit about some of the institutions of downtown, the Timberwolves, the Lynx, the Twins, the Minnesota Orchestra, and how important those things are for what sort of the next vision of downtown's going to be, right?
We did. In fact, I think that was kind of one of the high points of the program was a panel discussion with those leaders. Is one, there's a new generation of leaders in those three entities, the Timberwolves and Lynx, with the new CEO, Matt Caldwell, did a great job. Great way to introduce him to the community. And then having both Tom Pollad and then Isaac Thompson, the new CEO of the orchestra. They talked quite a bit about how driving attendance reinforces downtown and what they can do as an institution to help bring people here more frequently and elongate people's stays once they come here. Come before a show, stay after a ball game, those sorts of concepts for sure. And when you think about the impact the Vikings, the Twins, Timberwolves, Lynx have, they draw anywhere from, I think the estimates are 5 to 6 million people a year. I know that the last 2 years we've been around 9 million event attendees, and we typically get a majority of those attendees either going to those venues or going to see those sports teams.
What is the reality when it comes to return to the office? Because it's been slower in Minneapolis than in some other parts of the country. What are your metrics showing so far?
We have been. That's something that we've watched the last couple of years. We're typically, in the bottom 2 or 3 in return to office, in-office participation, and certainly when you look at commercial real estate indicators. The good news about last year is that both Target called employees into the office 3 days a week in the fall. That had an impact because it both drives people into their office, but also a lot of other companies that do business with Target were also much more likely to then be in the office. Where our surveys sit, we do this annually. We have 16 of our top 20 employers have some in-office policy. Tuesday through Thursday is still pretty strong. In early January, we showed that we are at about 80% of pre-pandemic levels. So, back in 2019, about 200 to 210,000 people came down to the office every day. We were about at 165, just under 170 in early January. Now, that could have taken some bit of impact here in the last month, but my hope is that continues to trend well. There was a lot of talk today of if you're in the office 3 days, think about being here 4. Or if you're in 3 days, think about Friday or Monday being one of those 3 days. It's sometimes easier to park, easier to take transit, be in and out.
Right.
We've also tried to talk to the city partners about, could we do discounted parking on some of those days, or could we think of some other incentives to drive?
Man, people hate to pay to park. It is unbelievable to me in this state. I grew up in Chicago where it costs like $50 a day. People here freak out at $7.50.
It's so true. And there's a correlation between, transit ridership and how much it costs to park. And so we have this challenge there. If it's too inexpensive to drive, it makes it convenient and easy. I caught part of your earlier segment about 94 and echo some concerns about how we balance the driving needs and the transit needs. Those are both.
It is true. I've done the math myself, right, to see, all right, would it make more sense to take it? Some of the parking incentives do make it where it's to trade the flexibility you have of being in your car, it's a little tricky. I understand those different levers and how they do influence other things. Adam Duininck is the CEO of the Minneapolis Downtown Council. Safety has been a conversation for a long time. How do you feel about things in downtown Minneapolis right now?
I feel like downtown is about as safe as it has been in quite some time. Indicators show that. We've seen double-digit decreases in violent crimes and property crimes. The numbers that we track closely, both monthly and quarterly, we reported on some of that today. I think the promising news about the MPD, the police chief's recruitment efforts, seeing the force grow in numbers is important too. But think about this for your listeners. Downtown is the place where there's both more building security, more extra presence from the Downtown Improvement District ambassadors and people that are on the street. There's more presence there. Do we have our challenges? Of course. And I think some of the issues around livability, some of the bus stops where we have trouble, or some of the corners where there are still issues, we need to keep thinking about creative ways to make it feel both safe, welcoming, and active too is the bigger thing. So when people are in the office and active in downtown, I think the vibe is improved significantly. What lags at times is the perception. There's still a notion that it's not that safe down here, or oftentimes it's.
How do we change that? How do we change that? I mean, some of the noise is just people who are haters and don't really care. So I don't spend too much time worrying about that. But there are people who legitimately do believe that it's not safe, which sort of perplexes me.
The only way, what I've both said, and now I've also seen it work, is it's seeing by believing. It's the believing by seeing and experiencing. You have to have people down here. The other thing that is helpful is don't tell people it's safe, because the second you do, then you're kind of signaling, well, should I be worried that it's safe? And so even how we communicate about safety is important. I think talking about how it's welcoming and a hospitable place is just as important as anything. And we have work to do in some of that front, and that's something that we think about pretty regularly here in our organization. But I think we've made big progress. I think we just have to continue to activate even more space and get more people down here regularly.
Adam Duininck is with us, the CEO of the Minneapolis Downtown Council. You know, just today, the mayor of San Francisco announced a new initiative basically to scoop up anybody on the street who is doing drugs, anybody publicly doing drugs. And what they're doing is building this large, or they're converting a building that already exists into a large treatment center. So you're being taken off the streets, which is showing the city is taking it seriously, and you're providing rehab services, which is showing some compassion. Is there a model for something like that around here? Is that, I mean, a lot of the things coming out of San Francisco to me seem pretty common sense, pro-business, and it is a Democrat as the mayor. It's not like it's a Republican in there.
I'm so glad you asked about that. I've been talking to everybody who will listen, including to the mayor's office and to our own business leaders here, to look at San Francisco. There's such a turnaround narrative there in terms of how seriously they're taking their safety issues. Part of our challenge here is you get what you tolerate. So if you tolerate behavior that turns people off, makes it less likely for folks to want to walk up and down Nicollet Mall, and we just tolerate it, it's going to continue. And so how can we have good partnerships? And I think we have some there. There's foundation between what's called behavioral response, BCR, behavioral crisis response. That's sort of a response to crime, where we're not trying to criminalize behavior. We're trying to help people seek the treatment they need. The county is responsible largely for that. So what we do need is a better cooperation and collaboration between the city and the county at times. Sometimes that's gone well. Sometimes it could be better. That's something that we are involved in a little bit as well. But I'll keep advocating that to anyone who will listen. And the other thing I'll say is the mayor of San Francisco uses his bully pulpit and his social media to show people what he's doing, which is really an impressive work product on his part. I think it's moving the needle. It's helping give investor confidence. It's helping send the signal our city's open for business, rather than doing things like denying hotels a liquor license, as I've heard you discuss in the last few days too.
Oh, my goodness. Are you trying to get me riled up again? Like I've been very calm today. Like that. Yeah. The city council did today approve those liquor licenses for those 2 hotels, but I am very concerned. Great. I think I've been talking to some of the greater MSP people who are working to bring in bigger, longer-term, big businesses, lots of jobs, big manufacturing, ag, tech, all of those areas. And they tell me, like, don't get too in the weeds in, like, the city politics stuff. Global companies are looking at a 10, 15, 20-year span, and they don't worry too much about some of this stuff. But I do think like local businesses that are here right now do worry about this stuff. It may not affect us in recruiting, but if you're a local business and you're like, my God, like the city council might deny my liquor license because I do something they don't like politically, or they do something that is required by law in my view, and they disagree, and that they're going to punish me. I am very concerned about how you say we're open for business, and then at the same time you say, but we're going to punish you guys if we don't like you.
I completely agree. And it's another one of these issues that sometimes the headline effect is just as bad as whether the policy passed or not. I had friends and colleagues calling me saying, did this happen? Is this happening? Right. Even though it was the initial vote was just to put it out.
Just
for
a slow walk. They slow walked it, which is annoying enough, but like they didn't deny it. And today they did not deny it.
Right, exactly. No, I mean, that's what we're trying to counteract, and it's great to see the San Francisco mayor doing what he's doing. The other thing I'll throw out there for our listeners is, you look at cities like Detroit, San Francisco, some of these cities just have to band together and really take it upon themselves to, nobody's coming to save us. It's not like we're going to wait for some outside investor to come in here and say, we're going to pick up the city and carry it for you. We all have to kind of band together. And I think that's something that came through at our program today. I'm excited about business community continuing to play a leadership role on that front as well.
Adam Duininck with us. You did tout that there were 60 grand openings or ribbon cuttings in Minneapolis in the downtown area last year. You know, we also at the same time have seen Target, which announced one round of layoffs and talking about another 500 at headquarters. It does go to the need to make sure we're not going to be a one-company town anymore.
Right. And I think, the point you made about thinking about light manufacturing or whether it's med tech or other sectors, things that we have some strength in, but maybe there's not a big presence in our downtown commercial district, for example. I think a lot about some of the AI companies and the high-tech companies, too. We're a natural secondary market. We're less expensive than a San Francisco or a Boston, but we do have both skilled workforce, in some ways, some competitive advantages, certainly some big quality of life indicators that are significantly high for the size of city that we are. So we really do need to continue to diversify the use. Some of the commercial space down here is going to get converted to housing. I'm optimistic about that and hearing more concrete plans for how that's going to come together. But there's also, we also need more jobs here. That was kind of another point of what I said today is when it comes to live, work, and play, we can't just live and play down here. We also have to have work and work opportunities. If we want more people to live here, they want to be close to jobs, and I'm excited about that possibility as well. We just have to keep leaning into where our strengths are.
Adam Duininck, appreciate it, CEO of the Minneapolis Downtown Council. Thanks, Adam.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
4:50, we'll break, and drive time coming back live from spring training in just a minute, where we are going to talk about a celebrity chef for the Twin Cities.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha, live from Hammond Stadium.
Got it! Fine! Let me have it! I got it! Fine!
Presented by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers and the Margaritaville Resort at Fort Myers Beach.
It's Jason here with an invitation for you to start a conversation. Livia Weight Control Centers has absolutely, without a doubt, changed my life. And so many of us have had that sort of experience, right? You've tried a couple things. It doesn't work. You get discouraged. You wonder, is there something wrong with me? Am I the problem? You are not the problem. But Livia may be the solution. For me, it was. Livia has the total package of everything you need. So award-winning nutrition support, just check that box. For more than 15 years, Livia has helped tens of thousands of men and women around Minnesota and western Wisconsin lose weight and keep it off. They helped me lose 45 pounds 3.5 years ago, and I kept all that weight off. And I'm a food critic. Like, you can do it. You can do it. They also have the best medical expertise around. So the GLP-1 support, they got it. Hormone replacement therapy, maybe you're at a time in life where things just aren't rocking the way you want it to. They've got that too. The bottom line is they will create a solution that will work with your lifestyle, with your personality, with your needs. You are top of mind the whole time. That's why the conversation's got to start at Livia. Livia.com is more than just a prescription. LIVEA.com or make the call. 855-GO-LIVIA.
Staples has hot deals and super low prices on everything for your business. And right now, brand your business at Staples with up to 30% off custom labels. Exclusions apply. Shop Staples in-store, online, or in the app. Ends 4/18. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Twin City Framers is the industry leader building the largest wood frame projects in town. And they have immediate openings for carpenters. Here's the deal. Large multifamily carpentry pays an average of $5 an hour more than single-family homes. This is your opportunity to work for the best of the business and make more money today. If you're a carpenter or know someone looking for better pay, better hours, great benefits, and on-the-job training, then look no further. Go online to TwinCityFramers.com and apply for an immediate position today. That's TwinCityFramers.com.
Jordana here for my friends at Mini Leaf. Hear what they're saying about this brand I love.
Tell me about your experience with the night gummies.
I started using them. I think this is my third order. I heard Jordana on WCCO radio talking about it, and I thought, well, if she's doing it, trying to get off the Ambien, and I
started with the pineapple gummies for sleep. That's what I take them for, is sleep. And I've been very pleased with the product. I started with the full gummy. Now I only take half, and that helps me sleep. So I'm very happy with the product. And I'm 70 years old, so.
And those Sleep Night gummies will help her sleep painlessly through the night. Those Sleep Night gummies are a real charm. Check out Mini Leaf's products at MINNELEAF.com. Check out that Triple Diamond Pain Cream, those Sleep Night gummies, or their other great products. I use them. There's so many CCOers that absolutely love them. You will too.
Mini Leaf means quality. Taste happy at minileaf.com.
The home of Minnesota's best legal products.
Larry Older here. You know, one of the most rewarding parts of sharing Relief Factor with you is hearing real stories like that of Sandra. She tells us, I've been hearing about Relief Factor on the radio for a couple of years, and I finally decided to try it because nothing else was helping my back pain. I know the feeling. With a 3-week quick start, she said, I went for it. Now I feel like a new person. That's Sandra's own words, and it's so gratifying to hear. I've told you about my brother Kirk having difficulty going up and down the stairs in the morning. He wouldn't listen to me. I told him to take Relief Factor. He finally did. Began moving better, feeling stronger. Too bad he didn't listen earlier. Try it for yourself. The 3-week quick start. And see how Relief Factor could be your game changer too. It is only $19.95. Think about it. Do the math. Less than $1 a day. So call 800-4RELIEF. That's 800, the number 4RELIEF, or go to relieffactor.com. All one word, relieffactor.com. How will it feel to be out of pain? 800-4RELIEF, relieffactor.com.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Slowdowns in place, South 35W, move across the Minnesota River Bridge, and overall not too bad as you make way through Burnsville. Traveling south 169, you will find some slowdowns there right now as you make way between Pioneer Trail and Highway 101. Up on the north side, 694 slowing both directions right now as you make way between University and Highway 252. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Get your home into the comfort zone with Metro Heating and Cooling.
A new furnace from Metro Heating and Cooling is on average only $5,500 after rebates. Find out more at metroheating.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Metro Heating and Cooling bringing us the forecast. Tonight, the low is 24. Tomorrow, 30. Saturday, 26. Nothing else really to talk about. It's 34 at the airport on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha, live from Hammond Stadium.
Got it! Fine! Let me have it! I got it! Fine!
Presented by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers and the Margaritaville Resort at Fort Myers Beach.
Well, DeRusha Eats is always brought to you by the Minnesota Pork Board, and today we celebrate my friend Diane Moua and her restaurant, Diane's Place, in Northeast Minneapolis, which got 6 minutes of airtime on ABC's Good Morning America today.
In the heart of Northeast Minneapolis is a not-so-secret neighborhood favorite.
Should we cut this one in half?
Named Food & Wine's best restaurant of 2025, Diane's Place is beloved by the local community and beyond.
Once it's translucent, it's basically done.
Where owner and executive chef Diane Moua blends her award-winning pastry skills with the flavors of her Hmong heritage.
I was the first child born here in the U.S., and the family that sponsored my mom and dad helped named me. So it was only right to call it Diane's Place because it's home. It's the American dream of why my mom and dad sacrificed so much to get us to the U.S.
I mean, it is the American dream. There's no doubt about it. If you want to hear more from Diane, you can check out our DeRusha Eats podcast. But the big surprise at the end, and you know Rebecca Jarvis is from here. She's been on our show a couple of times. She had her childhood next-door neighbor, Michael Rainville, who is a city council member in that area. He gave her a proclamation from the mayor naming today Diane Moua Day in Minneapolis. It was so cool, such a great moment. And Rebecca Jarvis, I don't know if you remember, Dan, Rebecca told us that she was a croissant freak when she was here last time.
I do remember that, yeah.
And so she was asking me where to go for croissants, and I did say, go to Diane's Place. I don't want to take credit for this, but it
kind of sounds like you do.
If you wanted to give me credit, no. We're so proud of Diane. CBS News is next.
Right now at Linda's Construction, they're offering 75% off installation labor on siding, Infinity by Marvin Windows, and you can get a free heat map analysis with an insulation estimate. Just call 8449-LINDAS or get on the web, lindasconstruction.com.
In construction, things don't always go according to plan. Delays, disputes, unpaid invoices, they can cost you big. That's where Helmuth & Johnson comes in. Our construction law team focuses on contracts, litigation, lien claims, and more. Whether you're a contractor, developer, or supplier, we've got your back. Protect your project, protect your business. Helmuth & Johnson, on your side, at your side. Visit hjlawfirm.com. That's hjlawfirm.com.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. member FDIC.
Spreadsheets, clunky software, 100 different logins just to run your business? Ah.
There's a better way. Odoo. One simple, connected platform that handles sales, inventory, accounting, and more. So you can focus on growing, not juggling. Make the switch today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
When it happens there, you'll hear about it here. News Talk 830 WCCO.
1029 HD2, Minneapolis, Saint Paul.
Streaming live.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Some tense moments in Lake City, Minnesota this afternoon as a group at a watch party in Taylor Heisey's hometown watched her and the rest of the U.S. Olympic women's hockey team win the gold over Canada 2-1 in overtime. Following that win in Milan, USA's Alyssa Liu won her free skate program, the first U.S. women's figure skating gold in 24 years. Former Prince Andrew is released from custody nearly 12 hours after the arrest of King Charles' disgraced younger brother on suspicion of misconduct in public office. More from CBS's Vicky Barker in London.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor has been released, quote, under investigation, a sign that police here continue to investigate emails in the Jeffrey Epstein files that appear to show Andrew, then a royal trade envoy, sharing confidential information with the convicted pedophile. At least 9 British police forces have also launched probes based on flight logs found in the Epstein files. Among other things, they're looking into whether victims were trafficked through UK airports. That may come back to haunt Andrew, too. Vicky Barker, CBS News, London.
Andrew has previously denied any wrongdoing in relation to Jeffrey Epstein. Dangerous weather conditions delay recovery of 8 people killed in a California avalanche. CBS's Matt Gutman.
Right now, the sheriff says they are sitting tight, waiting to go back up there until the weather clears and the avalanche threat clears. Maybe that could be as soon as tomorrow.
The rewards being offered for the arrest of the person or people responsible for the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie is now just over $200,000. CBS's Andres Gutierrez in Tucson also reports that the FBI has reached out to Mexican authorities.
The Pima County Sheriff has said that there is no indication at this point that Nancy was taken into Mexico. The prosecutor's office in the Mexican state of Sonora did issue a statement today that read, quote, there is no request to coordinate or cooperate for the search of a missing citizen in the United States.
The 84-year-old has been missing since the early morning hours of February 1st. NASA has released a report on the problems with the 2024 Starliner crewed flight test that ended up with 2 astronauts stranded on the International Space Station for nearly 9 months.
NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman stresses that the crew of the Boeing Starliner flight returned safely, but the path did not reflect the agency at its best.
Failure to learn invites failure again and suggests that in human spaceflight, failure is an option. It is not.
Isaacman adds that NASA declared a Type A mishap and is ensuring leadership accountability.
But we are not going to fly again, crew or uncrewed, until it's ready.
That's CBS's Allison Keyes reporting. This is CBS News.
What is going on?
What's going on here? How is this possible?
Great storytelling starts here.
Oh, come on.
Why? It's time for 60 Minutes.
Minnesota's trusted voice. Every hour, let's get you caught up with what's happening now on News Talk 830 WCCO.
Cloudy, 34 degrees at 5:03. I'm Laura Oakes. A hearing in Minneapolis federal court this afternoon over the recent arrest and detention of refugees who are lawfully in Minnesota.
Attorneys and advocates presented oral arguments regarding a class action lawsuit challenging the arrest and detention of lawfully present refugees under Operation Paris. The legal teams argued that the government's practice of transporting residents to Texas facilities in shackles is an unlawful departure from decades of established immigration policy. Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar.
I am so grateful that the advocates and their partners are fighting this in court. And clearly, the judge's initial temporary restraining orders show how cruel and necessary and illegal this operation is.
Inside City Hall, I'm Taylor Rivera. News Talk 830 WCCO.
Judge John Thunheim is expected to rule within the week. After weeks of debate, the Minneapolis City Council approves 2 liquor license renewals for a pair of downtown hotels that have housed ICE agents during Operation Metro Surge. The council at first looked poised to deny the renewals, but were told they had no legal basis to do so. A coalition of 20 Minnesota mayors making an ask at the state capitol today.
They're calling on state lawmakers to approve municipal aid to help rebuild local economies as Operation Metro Surge winds down. Hopkins Mayor Patrick Hanlon.
We're not quite sure the total scope of what all those costs are because they haven't left yet.
The coalition did not unveil a specific dollar amount of mutual aid they feel is necessary.
It's going to look different in every city and how we work with our partners. And we know the costs are immense. Working with our local nonprofits, they are over capacity in meeting all the needs.
Mark Fry, News Talk 830 WCCO.
A sentence of more than 86 years in prison for a man charged in a triple homicide at a Minneapolis homeless encampment. It happened in October of 2024 near 44th Street and Snelling Avenue in Minneapolis. 42-year-old Earl Bennett was shot by Saint Paul police days later after authorities say he pointed a gun at officers. He is also charged in that incident and is scheduled to appear in court in early March. And at the Olympics today, one of Minnesota's own played a big part in Team USA's gold medal win over Canada in women's hockey. Lake City's Taylor Heisey had the assist in overtime that saw USA beat Canada 2-1. Heisey played college hockey for the Gophers and is now with the Minnesota Frost. WCCO News Times, 5:06.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check.
It's moving pretty good. It cruised the system this afternoon. Crash working for West 94 near Riverside, causing some slowing as make way between there and downtown Minneapolis. Should clear out shortly. Traveling 694 eastbound, got some slowdowns there as you move past 100 over to Central Avenue. Traveling 494 eastbound, got your heavy stuff in place between France Avenue and Cedar Avenue. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Washburn-McCreevy Funeral Chapels and Cremation Services has been providing compassionate and personalized service for over 160 years. Honor your loved one and ensure your own wishes are met. Call 612-377-2203 or visit washburnmccreevy.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Brought to you by Washburn-McCreevy Funeral, Cremation, and Pre-Planning Services. Here's WCCO TV Chief Meteorologist Chris Schaefer.
Very quiet for the next several days, but cooling down. 24 the overnight low tonight. Cloudy with a high around 30 tomorrow. That's right around average. Trouble is the wind is going to pick up from the northwest. 10 to 15, making it feel like the teens in the afternoon. Saturday, not as windy, mostly cloudy with a high of 26. Our highs will be stuck in the 20s through the weekend.
Cloudy right now, 34 at News Talk 830 WCCO.
Dependable, sometimes unpredictable, and always relevant and compelling. News Talk 830 WCCO. He knows news. He knows talk. He knows nonsense, too. So get ready for a lot of each. This is Drive Time with DeRusha. Once again, here's Jason DeRusha.
Hour 3 of Drive Time with DeRusha coming at you on our 4th day at Twin Spring Training. We are in the press box here at the Lee Health Sports Complex, Hammond Stadium. Beautiful day, Sun was shining all day. But I do want to give you a live listen into what we're hearing inside the sports complex. Can you identify this sound? 651-461-9226. If you can identify this sound, I'll give you
a hearty handshake.
A hearty handshake.
Is it just me, or is this week flown by?
It's gone very
fast.
Very fast. Very fast. I will tell you what did not go fast. Your commute last night.
Ooh, no.
And my wife's flight to Fort Myers, Florida.
Poor Alyssa.
So some of you texted in or sent me messages telling me that you were dealing with commutes that were 3 or 4 times the normal length. The kind of freezing rain followed by flurries. And I just saw Chris Reese, the meteorologist, the weather dude from Channel 5, said that because temperatures ended up a little cooler than expected, the snow was stronger and longer, and the wraparound snow at the airport was 7.6 inches of snow.
Youch.
So if you think about this season so far, would you say this has been a snowier season than average or a less snowy season than
less
average?
Snowy, but colder. We had a snow bunch at the very beginning, and then this latest round, but I don't think it's been snowier than average.
So far, the seasonal total is 37.2 inches of snow, which is 1.3 inches above average. If you bet the over, you were right.
That's why I don't gamble.
So above average snow. It doesn't feel that way to me either. And 2 of the big snowfalls that we've had, I've been out of town. So
well, that helps. Yeah, that helps.
Definitely. I hope up in Maple Grove, I've got a couple of young nephews that they should be getting their butt over there and shoveling out the DeRusha driveway. Right? All right, 651-4. Yeah, boo. Oh.
One texter says
Matthew and Lucas are weighing in.
Yes,
on
one texter says they believe that's the sound of the Minnesota administration running away from accountability, redacting critical information. Well played. Incorrect, but well played.
There was a fraud report that was issued earlier this week that had more redactions.
Looked like the Epstein files.
Oh, no, not great. If you can identify that sound, we have a prize of nothing for you, but send it in at 651-461-9226. Let's bring you up to date on some of the news stories we're watching in the D-Rush Hour News headline.
The headlines you might have missed without missing a beat. This is your fast pass through the biggest and most impactful stories of the day. Welcome to the DeRush Hour headlines, starting with the lead.
And the biggest news story today is a bit of a reality check when it comes to what might happen at the state legislature this session. Interesting story in the Minnesota Star-Tribune by Ryan Faircloth, taking a look at the fact that the governor has this, well, this could go one of 2 ways, right? You could have Governor Tim Walz, who has 0 blanks to give and just goes all out trying to force people. Now, maybe he'd do it against his own party even because he doesn't need to. Like just trying to do what he thinks is right and best for Minnesota. The other option is the fact that Republicans are 0% going to be cooperative because there are so many Republicans trying to get endorsement for a statewide race. And so trying to compromise with the governor is probably not the most popular thing to do if you're trying to become the next governor. One of the things Faircloth reported is that the relationship with Republican lawmakers is expected to complicate his attempts to win any support. Lisa Dameth saying that she hasn't heard from or talked to the governor since September 30th. That is what she said on February 16th. So that's tough. That makes it tough. He said he's going to push for new firearm limits after the mass shooting at Annunciation Catholic Church and school in Minneapolis. He said that Republicans are going to take votes on protecting our children or they're not going to get anything else done. We will see what actually happens there. Next, the one of the candidates for U.S. House of Representatives, Matt Little, on social media today said that he ended up being tracked down by ICE agents in his own neighborhood.
And we caught up with ICE in my childhood neighborhood. There were 3 of them, and as they started to drive off, they took us to this tiny little parking lot. There were 3 of them of the ICE agents. As they started to drive off, blew a little kiss to me. They took us to this tiny little parking lot. But one of the ICE agents shake us. They did blew a little kiss to me. Thought he was cute. Through the neighborhood, but they couldn't shake a neighborhood. They did a bunch childhood neighborhood really well. So they weren't able to lose us. And so what did they do? Hometown neighborhood. They took us back to my house.
So that's Matt Little telling his story, saying that he was essentially boxed in by ICE agents. Now, he has been one of many elected officials who have been trailing and following ICE agents around, reporting on their movements. Judges repeatedly have ruled that it is legal and constitutional to follow ICE agents.
It's legal to follow you. You're not going to be able to arrest me for that. And they said, "Oh, you think so?"
Matt Little said that is what
but you were impeding an
but
investigation.
But sort of remarkable and a reminder.
And I said, impeding.
Now, at the end of this video, Little
when we
says,
got there, you were
like,
leaving.
well,
so how could I possibly impede an investigation?
And this
they
is
all
why
went
we
silent.
Get rid of
and so
to which I would say,
a few minutes later, of course,
because you're seeing ICE does not mean that the drawdown has not happened.
Block my car in on this road.
We
were able to get them around them.
They were here
and
before.
followed
they
them,
will
and
be
then
here now.
they did
I would
some
expect
crazy
that there
stuff
will
on
be
the
more
highway.
agents
They
here than there were before, which was about 150.
Block us in.
But the reality is, we are seeing more activity in the suburbs.
So we followed those that were blocking us,
activity in the suburbs, less of it in the central cities, and that does mean that people are seeing them.
These guys have nothing to do. They have nothing to do. They're just lingering
around
neighborhoods.
Released a song today.
It's time to go home.
Inspired by Renee Good.
ICE agents.
So that is a little clip of the song about Minneapolis, a song about Renee Good. U2 published an interview online today saying that the song American Obituary is a song of fury, but more than that, a song of grief, not just for Renee, but for the death of an America that at the very least would have had an inquiry into her killing. And you heard from Laura's news updates that there's another singer who's doing a show this weekend at Target Center. Belinda, well, I don't want to say who it is and be wrong. Josh, do you remember who that was from Laura's news? There's a concert at Target Center this weekend.
You had it right.
It's Belinda. I had it right. I just said it was Belinda, though. Is it Belinda Carlisle?
It's Brandy Carlisle.
Brandy, not
I feel
Belinda.
like we've run into this
no,
issue
I had
before.
it wrong.
Yes.
It's Brandy Carlisle. I'm like, Belinda Carlisle makes no sense, but Brandy Carlisle does make sense.
Maybe both. Who knows?
Brandy Carlisle's show at the Target Center on Saturday night. You can stream the show online, and that live stream is the latest example of a musician to kind of lend support and try to raise money for Minnesota after the surge of ICE agents. You know where I could have found that answer very easily? At WCCOradio.com, where you see the headline on our YouTube and our X stream right now, Brandy Carlisle, the latest musician to lend support to Minnesota. Yes, applaud my terrible work. Let's break. In just a minute, we are going to talk about a plan to, or at least a proposal, to extend a sales tax that was paying for Target Field. Could it help save one of the most important medical facilities in the state? And is that fair? Is that smart? It is a hospital in crisis, Hennepin Healthcare and the Hennepin County Medical Center. We'll talk about that when we come back. Drive Time live from Twin Spring Training here on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha, live from Hammond Stadium, presented by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers, along with the Margaritaville Resort at Fort Myers Beach.
So, Dan, if you were going to the Brandy Carlisle show over at Target Center this weekend, you probably want to look your best.
Well, without question.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
You don't want to just show up to that thing and not be prepared.
No.
You're going to post a picture, probably.
Most likely.
And Brandy Carlisle, when you think of Carlisles, who are extremely well-dressed, you know, who do you got? Who's your top 3 Carlisles, would you say, when it comes to dressing?
I'm running out after 2.
Brandy Carlisle.
Belinda Carlisle.
And
I don't know any other Carlisles.
That's all I got also. But I will tell you, oh, what about Rick Carlisle?
Sure.
The host, the coach of the Indiana Pacers. He's a well-dressed guy.
He's a very well-dressed individual, yes. I'm sure he shops at J.H. & Sons.
Well, I would hope so. When he's in the Twin Cities, if you're looking for the best men's clothing, J.H. & Sons is your place to go. It is my place where I go shopping for sport coats, for linen pants, for polo shirts and button-ups. You name it, they've got you covered. The tailoring is top-notch. If you have a wedding in the works for the next year, you got to get to J.H. & Sons. A graduation, a promotion, all of those things. But it's not just for special events. It's for everyday special nights out. Well, we're dressing better in 2026, and J.H. & Sons can help you get there. Get to their website, jhsons.com, to get on their email list. If you were on that list, you would have seen some of the great new spring colors and clothing coming to the store right now. This weekend be a great way to beat those winter blues by going to the Galleria, going to J.H. & Sons. Say hi to Kevin. Tell him you heard it on CCO. Look your best. Feel confident. Get to J.H. & Sons.
Get your home into the comfort zone with Metro Heating and Cooling.
Metro Heating and Cooling delivers the highest quality products at the most affordable prices. Products like Trane furnaces and air conditioners. For more than 140 years, Trane has been setting and resetting the standard. Get your free estimate at metroheating.com.
Get your home into the comfort zone with Metro Heating and Cooling.
Metro Heating and Cooling of Maplewood.
Jordana here. Resolution or not, if you haven't made a plan yet, I'm talking about a life plan, an estate plan, a plan for, your stuff. I know you don't like to think about what might happen if something happened to you, if you became incapacitated or even worse. But you know what? You got to do it. If you don't have that will or living trust or a power of attorney or a healthcare directive, consider this your swift kick in the pants to get it done. And when it comes to estate planning, I recommend my dear friend, Matt Gutman. Matt has helped me so many times. I'm talking medical powers of attorney, plans for the kids when they go off to college, and his full estate plan for me and for Mark. He's done it for my family. He can do it for you too. He and his partner, Jamie Reff Wagner, will do an incredible job for you, and you will be happy it's done. Call Gutman Law today, 612-895-1616. GutmanLaw.com, 612-895-1616. GutmanLaw.com. Peace of mind today for tomorrow.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha, live from Hammond Stadium, presented by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers, along with the Margaritaville Resort at Fort Myers Beach.
The Rush Hour news headlines going in depth on an idea that might be able to help one of the most critical care centers for Minnesotans, the Level 1 Trauma Center, the entire medical facility at Hennepin County Medical Center. The idea is finding money in a spot that already is being collected, but maybe you could extend the sales tax that helps fund Target Field and divert that from the ballpark to the hospital. Jeff Lundy is a Hennepin County Commissioner. He's with us on the John Schuster Coldwell Banker hotline. And look, why don't we set the table? And we've talked before, Jeff, about the challenges that Hennepin County Medical Center is facing. Frankly, every hospital in Minnesota and most hospitals in America are struggling with some of these issues. But tell us how serious and how dire the situation is at Hennepin Healthcare.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. We've hit that moment where the hospital needs additional revenue streams, or it will simply come to the moment where we will have to make the tough decision to close the hospital. Currently, the hospital is covered. We cover, we're kind of like the financial backstop, but it's the Hennepin County property taxes that cover that, even though we serve the whole state and, frankly, eastern Dakotas, northern Iowa, western Wisconsin, and beyond. Our patients come from all over, but it is Hennepin County property taxes that are covering it. And we've hit that moment where the decision needs to be, we need to make a different choice.
So one idea you're looking at, or commissioners are looking at, is the Target Field sales tax. Tell us what that would do and if that makes sense.
Yeah, we've seen other counties around the country that have a safety net, public safety net hospital like ours that provides the level of care that we do, enact a health care tax. And so what we've proposed in the legislature is a repurposing of the existing Target Field tax. We'll continue to invest in the Twins and make sure they have the best possible stadium. But we will then extend that tax out to help cover costs at Hennepin Healthcare. If we don't get that, just to be clear, it will be closing. There is no middle ground. There's no, alternate plans. That is how dire the situation is. And we're not the only hospital facing it. And, this is a choice that we're put in front of the legislature.
Yeah, as you mentioned, and we're talking with Jeff Lundy, Hennepin County Commissioner, it is Hennepin County property taxes that have subsidized sort of the shortfall here. And I guess I didn't know that so many patients were not from Hennepin County, that it was really more of a state asset than I think people consider.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at just the trauma care, the level 1 part, 40% of our patients come from outside Hennepin. If you talk about uncompensated patients, 24% of our patients come from outside Hennepin. We provide a backstop to other hospitals around the state that are facing known financial difficulties where we'll get transfers to our hospital so we can provide care, especially those who are unable to pay. And we've kind of hit that moment in time where if we're going to remain a statewide asset, we've got to find a way to recoup some of those costs. And that is that sales tax idea would generate about 24% would come from outside Hennepin and provide some relief.
So the sales tax, the Target Field sales tax is 0.15%, right? And it was supposed to sort of, it was supposed to sunset, what, this year?
Early next year, we'll have satisfied the financial requirements.
So the question is, and obviously raising a new tax is a political nightmare, generally speaking. But if you can take a tax that's already there and reallocate it, how did you guys land on this tax as far as being an option?
Well, I think you think about what I said is all those patients coming from outside Hennepin, but 100% of the costs are borne by only Hennepin County property tax owners. And so a sales tax is a way to capture people coming in to our county who are using the services of that hospital. And so that is one way to diversify your revenue stream and, capture some of that money. And so that kind of money would help us make that hospital continue to function as a statewide asset. I mean, if you're talking about a burn unit, if you're talking about renal care, pediatric, ECMO, across the board, we get people from all over who are at the worst possible moments in their life and need the best possible care, and they arrive at our doorstep and we give them that care. But a hospital that's not open provides no care at all, and that's the moment that's in front of us.
Now, obviously, you are not the only one who's trying to take some of this money. And as I recall, the Twins, in fact, and the county, I think, supported this originally. Weren't the Twins looking to keep collecting that money to be able to use it for maintenance on Target Field? So have you had any conversation with the Twins about this?
Absolutely. So the Twins are 100% involved. We would continue to meet the obligations of, you need to invest money into the ballpark itself. Even though the bonds are paid off, you still got things like you need new seats for the whole stadium, or you need this or that, air conditioning, all those things that are kind of maintenance expenses that are operational would still be covered. So, the tax wouldn't disappear from Target Field. We are working hand in hand with the Twins to have that arrangement that they will have a good field, and what we hope is some good players. I think you're seeing them.
Yes. Yep.
To be put a good product on the field, and we'll make sure they have a good home that to be proud of. So it is that part continues. It's not just it's all going here. We're going to keep that there, because that is a statewide resource as well.
Right.
Target
right.
Field, people come from all over.
Yeah, and I think certainly the ownership has shown a commitment to kind of putting some of their own skin in the game to make sure that Target Field looks good. But if there's a way we can use this money, closing HCMC, I just think would be a public health nightmare, an absolute horror for the. Yeah, it would be a disaster. Yeah,
well, you think about just the fact that those patients don't disappear. A hospital closes. The patient, the farmer who gets pinned and gets burned on an accident on his farm that needs somewhere to go, still needs a place to go. It won't be HCMC because it won't be there.
Yeah, really interesting. The legislature has to approve this, right? And we can hope in a very divided legislature, perhaps this is something that both political parties could agree on, right?
I think so. We're having conversations, good discussions, and getting good questions from both parties. It's a red team, blue team. We need all teams to come together. And I guess that'd be the purple team, right? If we're going to talk Vikings. Right. And to come together, we need permission from both sides to get this through the legislature. We believe there's a compelling reason. And the domino effect, the patients that we don't serve go back to other struggling hospitals that may not have the financial wherewithal to serve them as well.
Yeah. I'm certain that Health Partners in Fairview and some of the other hospital systems in our area, they can, North Memorial has had their own sort of well-known and well-documented challenges as well. All of this, it really comes down to Medicare reimbursement, that sort of stuff, and sort of the challenges and the cost of health care and the number of people without insurance and on and on and on. It's complicated stuff.
If I can make you feel even better, let me add this to it. H.R. 1, the effects of that will, just to HCMC, will be a $1.7 billion hit over the next 10 years. So we haven't even felt that yet, but we are planning for it. So we know, and we're not the only ones who've got a plan for reimbursement rates to decline and start to see people who have no insurance at all show up at our doorstep. So we need the help from all people. I guess I'll put it that way.
Jeff Lundy, I appreciate you. Hennepin County Commissioner, thanks for spending some time with us tonight.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that's the D-Rush Hour News headlines live from Twin Spring Training in Lee County, Florida. Tomorrow will be the first Twins spring training game of 2026. It'll be against the University of Minnesota Gophers. We are going to chat with a couple of Twins players that need to have a really strong season. Anybody out there a fan of catchers? We're going to talk to Ryan Jeffers in just a minute here on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha, live from Hammond Stadium, presented by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers and the Margaritaville Resort at Fort Myers Beach.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Sub-zero temperatures aren't friendly to electric vehicles, and Rivian is hoping to prove that its new R2 SUV can handle the frigid weather in an attempt to broaden its appeal. Seeking Alpha reports that the R2 was spotted in Fairbanks, Alaska, as Rivian puts the vehicle through its paces in freezing conditions in order to assure the EV's battery capabilities and establish the R2 as a rival to Tesla's Model Y. I'm Jason Brooks.
I think so.
Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hi, it's Vanita, and we know how great the John Schuster Group is, but it's wonderful to hear from people who have benefited from that relationship. One of them is Ray from Minnetonka. Ray, thanks so much for joining us. Why did you choose the John Schuster Group?
At our first meeting with Tim and Abby Lehman, we clicked right away.
What was your experience like selling your home with the John Schuster Group?
It was incredibly simple. Our first day on the market, we got our first offer, and I was like, wow, we did get multiple offers, but we went with the first offer we got on Friday.
Okay, bottom line, why should every WCCO listener contact the John Schuster Group, Coldwell Banker Realty, when it's time to move?
From the moment they walked into our home, we had nothing to worry about with them. We're just beyond our expectations. We just can't thank them enough.
952-222-9000 online, johnschustergroup.com.
Buy a home, sell a home, we'll get you moving. JohnSchusterGroup.com.
Terms and conditions may apply.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
Overall, things are actually kind of on the light side and moving fairly decently as you got some pretty good winter driving conditions to contend with. If you're traveling Cedar Avenue northbound, we've got a crash working. Both traffic lanes are blocked right now. Traffic is single file, making its way off onto the right shoulder and slowing as you make way towards 66th Street. Traveling southbound 35 East, some slowing as you move through downtown Saint Paul toward Grand Avenue, and then a little bit of a slowdown as you travel south 35W. Kind of been there all afternoon as you move across the Minnesota River Bridge. Jerry Peterson, News Talk 830 WCCO.
Chanhassen Dinner Theaters presents Guys and Dolls, a high-rolling musical spectacle packed with iconic songs and dazzling dance numbers. Don't miss this Tony Award-winning Best Musical, Guys and Dolls. Tickets at chanhassendt.com.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Chanhassen Dinner Theater, always entertaining you, bringing us the CCO forecast from our friend Chris Schaefer.
No storms in sight, but we're losing anything that resembles warmth. Cloudy 24 overnight tonight. We'll hit 30 tomorrow with a cloudy sky. It's going to be breezy, though. Northwest wind 10 to 15 will make it feel cooler. This weekend, not as windy, but not as warm, with highs stuck in the mid-20s. Back to the 30s next week.
Right now in Woodbury, it is 34 degrees here on News Talk 830 WCCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha, live from Hammond Stadium, presented by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers and the Margaritaville Resort at Fort Myers Beach.
Live in Florida, as our sun is beginning to set tonight. A nice warm day here. I tell you what, if you're planning a vacation coming down to Fort Myers at Lee County, I would highly recommend putting it on your list, and coming down to spring training is such a cool experience, isn't it, Dan?
It's so much fun. And, it's so much fun for us. I mean, obviously we get great access, and the Twins are great to us. But watching families and kids and, longtime fans be around the practice fields and getting to interact with players. And you mentioned it with Jeremy Zoll earlier today. If people didn't hear it, they can go back and listen to that interview via podcast or on YouTube. But the access that the Twins organization gives to fans is really special compared to a lot of the other practice facilities around Florida. So.
That's right. Well, Ryan Jeffers is in a unique scenario this season. You may remember in the past as the Twins catcher, he was splitting duties. He's not doing that anymore. It's his gig. He will be the day-in, day-out catcher. It's a big change. It's also the goal that he set. Ryan talked with us in the locker room today, where we are streaming this video online, and it's worth your time to check out the video, and you'll understand what I'm talking about in just about 15 seconds. Here's Ryan Jeffers. Ryan Jeffers with us. Media Day today. You look great, by the way.
Thank you.
Crisp white.
Too bad it's radio. You know?
I know. People don't get.
Ryan
Jeffers on the video stream. We'll show
okay,
that.
cool.
Jeffers with us. Media Day. You look great, by the way.
Thank you.
Crisp white.
Too bad it's radio.
I know. People don't get. They can see on the video. It's all multimedia.
Okay, cool.
Do you like doing this sort of nonsense?
I mean,
You can.
Depends
what
we want to show.
I know. I'm sorry. It's all multimedia now, right? Do you like doing this sort of nonsense? This year have to do today. Some doubt, right? This year's gonna be a little different.
I don't think like is the word anyone wants to use, but I think it's we just I've worked catching a full workload.
This year's
responsibilities,
no doubt, right? This year's gonna be a little different
to some extent.
Knowing
so
that
I'm excited
you're
for it. I'm excited to catch a full season, catching a full season of work, and see what I can do with all that.
You got a little bit of an opportunity in this second half of last season to just go and see what it did. What did it do to your body? Is it different?
My body felt great. Honestly, my body felt better. My swing felt better. Just doing that, and that's what a lot of people had told me. Like, hey, when you start getting consistent ABs every day, you start feeling better. You can your body kind of adapts to that. So hopefully that's a sign for good things to come.
Yeah, I sort of wonder about that, right? Like when you have this sort of inconsistent schedule, it's hard once you feel yourself getting into a groove, and then you sit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the reality of what I've dealt with the last 3 years.
3 years, yeah. This kind of opportunity has got to be exciting, though. This is what you want.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like I've earned the right. I've performed really well the last 3 years. I think top one of 4 guys in the league, catchers that have held some 100 plus offensive, 100 plus WRC plus for 3 straight years. Like I've proven myself as one of the top guys. So getting a full workload is good.
Obviously, the biggest news out of spring training so far has been the injury to Pablo Lopez. You guys have such a good relationship. Just I wonder what kind of emotions or what kind of reaction you have.
Yeah, it stinks. I think everyone in here is hurting with Pablo during these times, but also we understand the reality of how this game works. Injuries are such a harsh reality of what we have to deal with. So to some extent, it's just going to turn the next man up.
It is tricky, right? Like you have to give it your all the time while knowing that one at-bat, one throw, one thing could change everything.
Yeah, we play violent sport and we do it every day. So there's always a risk of injuries. You try and do everything you can to prevent those.
Off-season, anything different in your preparation this year?
No, as I've grown up in this game and learned more about myself and about what it takes to get ready, I've pretty much polished off the off-season of what I know. I know now what I need to get ready to come into camp and then to use camp to then get ready for the season.
Most fun thing you did in the off-season?
We went on our first full family vacation. We went down to the Keys for a week or so. It was really nice.
Kids?
Yeah, I have a 3.5-year-old daughter and a 6-month-old son. Ooh. Yeah, it was good. It's fun. Those are fun ages.
How'd they do in the Keys?
They loved it. Our daughter she's a water baby. She loves to be in the water the whole time.
Now, my other job is as a food critic in Minnesota, so I always like to ask people about their favorite places to go or their favorite foods to eat. Do you have any Minnesota favorite?
my wife will enjoy this. We go to Porzana in North Loop a lot, and her favorite dish, arguably ever, is the roasted carrots. Porzana.
It's so good.
It's phenomenal.
Porzana, the people are so great there. The room is beautiful.
Yeah, you can't be. The steaks are good, but the carrots stand out for sure.
That's something when you're at a steakhouse saying the best thing is the carrots.
They've got a really good burrata salad, or like a appetizer, like a burrata appetizer too. But the carrots are something else.
Really good. All right, we're excited for you this year. We'll be cheering for you, man.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Ryan. Ryan Jeffries. I mean, on our video stream right now, I'm showing you those carrots. I mean, they are delicious. Dan is like, carrots? Carrots, I feel like not in your repertoire.
I leave them alone. They leave me alone.
I feel like you and I have been to a number of pizza places. Like, that is Dan Cook dream food.
There's tomatoes in pizza, so that counts as fruit, right?
Pretty good. It is important for Jeffers this year. His offense is going to, we talk about offense a lot because this is what the focus is right now, right?
Well, it was, going obviously prior to Pablo's injury, which is going to be the lead to every sentence talking about this team, the starting pitching was thought to be the strength. And so for them to achieve what they're hoping to, the offense was going to have to come through a little bit better than they did last year. And Ryan's one of the steadier offensive players on this team, or at least has been over the last couple of years. So he's a guy that, again, with everyday play, and he mentioned it in that interview, hopefully can bump those numbers up a notch. And kind of lead the way for the offense a little bit.
We had the chance to talk with one of the new coaches for the Minnesota Twins, and part of, I asked Shelty the other day, like, look, should anybody really care about who the coaches are? Is that really that big of a deal to the average fan? And
he was really emphatic.
Yes, he was.
They should.
He was. But one of the guys who came, I think it was sort of interesting, Dan, that he chose to come here considering his pedigree and his background.
Yeah, Grady Sizemore is somebody that Twins fans will recognize as having been around the AL Central quite a bit. And it was one of those things. I laughed because when the Twins announced that they had hired him to come be a coach for them, I sort of grinned because I was always rooting against Grady Sizemore. He was always a guy that was just a pest to the Twins and kind of ate up Twins pitching in a lot of different eras and for a lot of different teams. And so now I got to root for the guy?
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
So I was fascinated to hear about why it was so many people in the organization have gone other places and then chosen to come back here. He was never part of the Twins organization. He always saw it from the outside, but chose to want to come here, and it was interesting to hear why.
Let's take a listen. Here's Grady Sizemore in the Twins clubhouse live from spring training. Grady Sizemore, good to see you. Thanks for being with us.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
What does it feel like to put on a Minnesota Twins uniform?
A little different. I think I'm working my way through the Central right now. No, happy to be here, excited to work with these guys, and just looking forward to getting going.
What made you want to be a part of this team?
I think it started with conversations with Derek and the front office, and then the more I talked with them and got to know these guys, and I think it just felt like the right fit. I think I had a good relationship with him, from my playing days, and then stayed in touch as friends, and then just kind of hearing them talk about their vision for this year and for this team, got me excited, and it was an easy transition.
Derek does bring an energy to this, I think, and a belief and a positivity and accountability. Is that sort of your impression so far?
Yeah, definitely. I think he has a good balance of kind of being intense but loose and getting the most out of his players and demanding a lot, but also showing respect. So I think it's a good balance.
Base running obviously is a focus for this organization. Already it's been something we've seen on display today. Give me a sense as to what your approach is and what you're thinking that this team's capable of.
I think we want to be aggressive, but also just be opportunistic. Look for opportunities, try to create our own opportunities, and take advantage of a weakness or a situation that may benefit us. So I think we're looking to use it as a weapon and looking to take every advantage we can.
Speed that you like so far?
Yeah, I think we have speed, but I think there's so much more than just speed. I think it's instincts, it's timing, it's situational just awareness. So kind of blending all those together and looking for those moments where we can put pressure and take advantage.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like the amount of the lead you can get, and some of those little things become big things, right?
Yeah, I think all of it all adds up. Every foot is every foot matters, every step we take. So I think just being aware of where we're at on the field and what the situation is and who we're going up against, so we can put ourselves in the best position to score runs and take extra bases.
There's been a lot of talk about culture so far over the last couple of days, from ownership to the manager. What's your sense as to how important or how much that can change an organization?
Well, I think, it always has to start with, the culture, and it should be about winning. I think we're always developing, but you can win and develop at the same time. So I think we're looking to compete, and we're doing everything we can to get a win that night.
Yeah, I think sometimes people forget about that, right? You talk so much about development. Oh, we got a lot of young guys around.
Yeah, I think, but at the end of the day, wins are what matter. And I think that's our focus right now. It's just, how do we put ourselves in the best position to win, and how do we create, wins within the strength of our roster.
And bringing in guys who have won, too, to give an example as to what it takes.
Absolutely. I think, veteran leadership goes a long way. Whether it's a vocal guy or just a guy who has experience, who's quiet, I think, those young guys are going to feed off of that and learn from that and develop their routine off of those guys, and they're going to be the pulse or the heartbeat of what we're doing.
Checks out. Grady Sizemore, thanks so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Cool guy, interesting background. He did take over a bit for the Chicago White Sox as our interim manager.
Yep, was interim manager there, and then
in 24.
New front office and new leadership there. He moved on from there, and he was one. Like I said, we had one of many interesting names that are helping coaching out the Twins. Obviously, Twins fans will know LaTroy Hawkins, now back as a bullpen coach. Derek Shelton mentioned to us the other day, LaTroy Hawkins doesn't need that job. He could have gone on being a special assistant with the Twins, but he wanted to get in the room, and he wanted to be coaching, and he wanted to do the everyday again. Ryan Presley we've seen around a bunch. Johan Santana has been around a bunch. These are guys. Michael A. Taylor, who only spent one season with the Twins, but called the Twins and said, I want to be part of the organization, post-playing days. There's something within the organization and the way it treats players and the way that it operates that draws these guys back. And again, these are guys, big league ball players for a long time, don't necessarily need the money.
That's
they just
right.
want to be around.
They want to be around
be
it.
part of this organization.
Yeah,
and that's something special.
Fans should grab onto that.
Absolutely.
Right? Dan, thank you. Let's break. Night has fallen here in Fort Myers, Florida. First game is tomorrow. We'll have it here on News Talk 830 WCCO.
You're listening to Drive Time with DeRusha, live from Hammond Stadium, presented by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers and the Margaritaville Resort at Fort Myers Beach. You probably came for the breaking news, the severe weather and winter storm reports, or maybe for Twins baseball. Can we convince you to stay for the conversations?
J.J. McCarthy, we don't need an off-season stud. We need a regular season star.
Listen longer.
Why should someone be optimistic that this legislative session will benefit them?
And hear the difference.
I've got a better shot of making the starting lineup of the Minnesota Twins than Donald Trump is going to send money to Minnesota.
News Talk 830 WCCO.
Every business starts with an idea. With Smart Business Buying from Amazon Business, get everything you need to grow in one familiar place. From office supplies to IT essentials and maintenance tools. Ready to bring your visions to life? Learn how at AmazonBusiness.com.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Hey, Adam Carter here, inviting you to join me November 30th to explore tropical Costa Rica with Colette. We'll stay in the Monteverde Cloud Forest, a place you have to see to believe, where trees grow to heights of 100 feet and the wildlife is abundant, from butterflies to sloths. Enjoy breathtaking views in Nature's Museum. Visit a coffee plantation to learn the history from the bean to the cup. Plus, relax in a resort on the most beautiful beach of Guanacaste. This and so much more. Colette handles all the details: flights, meals, hotels, and local experiences. Your only job is to have the time of your life. Do not miss out. Call Colette at 866-436-6734 or visit WCCOradio.com to learn more. That number again, 866-436-6734. Let's go to Costa Rica.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Welcome to Radio Rental. The scariest stories you've ever heard in your life. All told by real people. And off we go.
This wasn't a human being that I saw. There's something here in this house, something not of this world.
There was a woman moving through the hall. I stepped back and I was completely alone.
Radio Rental is available now. Listen for free on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Time to find out how it's moving on the roads and what's moving in via the skies. This is traffic and weather together on CCO, starting with a check of the commute.
A little bit of good news. Cedar North, as you make way past 66th Street, you find the accidents cleared. All lanes are open up, and traffic is on the light side as you make way through the area. On light side as well, traveling 494 eastbound from Highway 5 as you move across the Minnesota River Bridge, heading out toward South St. Paul. 94 eastbound, minor slowdown through St. Paul. Jerry Peterson, New Talk 830 WCCO.
Now, the latest conditions and the outlook for the next few days with your CCO forecast.
Cloudy tonight, no snow. It's dry throughout the weekend. Low is 24. Tomorrow is 30. Saturday, 26. Pretty average temperatures after that big 8 inches of snow at the airport. Right now, at the airport in Minneapolis, it's 34 on CCO.
This is Drive Time with DeRusha, live from Hammond Stadium, presented by the islands, beaches, and neighborhoods of Fort Myers and the Margaritaville Resort at Fort Myers Beach.
Dan, I didn't get a ton of sleep last night.
No, you did not.
When we went off the air at this time last night, we were talking about the fact that the commute was so rough, and Alyssa, my wife, was trying to get from downtown St. Paul, from our apartment, to the airport. She had found an Uber. It was surged, so it cost $70. She got to the airport with a planned departure time of around 8 o'clock.
Seems reasonable.
Was supposed to get here at 11. 11 became 11:30.
Uh-oh.
Her departure then slid to 9:30.
Uh-oh.
And the waiting began. At 9:30, I told her, I'm going to go to sleep because your flight will arrive at 1. So I'll get,
get as many hours as you can.
3 hours
before
of
that.
sleep, and then I'll go get you. And at 1 o'clock, I wake up, check the flight details. The 1 o'clock arrival had become a 3 o'clock arrival.
Not good.
So I'm like, well, I'll get 2 more
Couple more hours.
of sleep.
There you go.
Back down I went. Wake up at 3 o'clock. And it said, no, the arrival is now 4:30.
Oh, man.
So I went down for another hour of sleep. Turned
This
out...
can't be quality sleep, though, if you keep having to get
I mean, I
up all
feel
the time.
like my energy level has not been too
No, you've been
terrible.
great, but I'm just saying I'm empathizing.
Thank you. So, I mean, the real victim is Alyssa,
Well,
who
there's
is
that. Yeah, no, there's no
at the
question.
airport and having this moment of, oh, my gosh, like I should have just bagged the trip entirely. So then Then she's on the plane. So I wake up at 4, get in the car, drive to the airport, get to the airport here in Fort Myers at 4:30 when she texts me that her flight has been diverted to Orlando.
Oh, no.
Fog. And it was very foggy here this morning.
This morning, yeah.
So she did finally arrive at 11 o'clock this morning, just a mere 12 hours after her planned arrival time.
And looking much more with it and together than I would if I had gone through that.
I know. She looked pretty good.
She had her stuff together.
I would have been belly aching the whole time.
Without question.
You're still belly aching about a flight delay from 3 years ago, I think.
Is it 3 years? Yeah. Yeah.
Is this our fourth time at
This is our fourth time at spring training.
Man. You still never get over how dark it is in southern Florida. There's like no lights. I think it's because of the wildlife. Everything is so dark.
Yeah, they don't. It's not. The roads aren't lit the same way we're used to in Minnesota by any stretch.
All right, we'll have a short show tomorrow, just 2 hours. Card D Sharks. We're gonna play it here.
Yeah.
Are we here in the booth, or are we going down with the
No,
people?
we're here in the booth.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you think we could bring some people up here? You never know.
I don't know.
Dan is like, I gotta get permission. I'm just like, I grab some people, get them up here. Who cares? What are they gonna do? It's minor. It's a game against the Gophers.
I finally got a full spring training media pass, and you're going to get it revoked.
That's what I do. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.
It's Chris Lindahl, and here's the